and we're at Pumpkin Hill. You ready? I ain't gon' let it get to me, I'm just gon' creep down in Pumpkin Hill. I got to find my lost piece. I know that it's here, I can sense it in my feet. The great emerald's power allows me to feel. I can't see a thing, but it's around somewhere. I'm gonna hold my head, cause I have no fear. This probably seems crazy, a graveyard theory. Our ghosts try to approach me and got leery. Ask him a question and he vanished in a second. I'm walking through valleys, crying pumpkin in the alley. Didn't seem happy, but they sure tried to get me. Had to back them up with a fist metal crackle. I'm hearing someone saying, you a chicken, don't be scared. It had to be the wind, cause nobody wasn't there. I searched and I searched as I climbed up the wall. And then I started to fly, I went in deeper. Let it get to me, I'm just gon' creep down Pumpkin Hill, I got to find my lost piece. I know that it's here, I sense it in my feet. The great emerald's power allows me to feel. I can't see a thing, but it's around somewhere. I gotta hold my head, I have no fear. It probably seems crazy, a graveyard theory. A ghost try to approach me, he got leery. I'm just gon' creep down in Pumpkin Hill, I got to find my lost piece. I know that it's here, I can sense it in my feet. The great emerald's power allows me to feel. I can't see a thing, but it's around somewhere. I'm gonna hold my head, cause I have no fear. This probably seems crazy, a graveyard theory. Our ghosts try to approach me and got leery. Ask him a question and he vanished in a second. I'm walking through valleys, crying pumpkins in the alley. Didn't seem happy, but they sure tried to get me. Had to back them up with a fist metal crackle. I'm hearing someone saying, you a chicken, don't be scared. It had to be the wind, cause nobody wasn't there. I searched and I searched as I climbed up the wall. And then I started to fly, I went in deeper. Let it get to me, I'm just gon' creep down Pumpkin Hill, I got to find my lost piece. I know that it's here, I sense it in my feet. The great emerald's power allows me to feel. I can't see a thing, but it's around somewhere. I gotta hold my head, I have no fear. It probably seems crazy, a graveyard theory. A ghost try to approach me, he got leery.
Spooky up in here, it's crazy in here. We still gon' keep it going, I'm Knuckles. Nobody scares me. Whoever want it, bring it. I don't care, we can do this. Then come step up to the plate and meet your match. It ain't no thing.
Alec Hunter is here to stay. Alec Hunter knows the way. Alec Hunter, king of crochet. Alec Hunter will make your day. Alec Hunter is here to stay. Alec Hunter knows the way. Alec Hunter, king of crochet. Alec Hunter will make your day. rap about a man named Alec Hunter, tricking this girl and I straight up Alex stumped her. Holding crossbow like he's literally Alec Hunter. Passing a football, called this dude Alec Punter. When he's doing bad, he is trash like Alec Dumpster. Wife is literally cheating, so Alec go confront her. Thinking about stuff he's doing, and Alec wonder. Shooting lightning from his fingers like he's Alec Thunder. Alec Hunter is here to stay. Alec Hunter knows the way. Alec Hunter, king of crochet. Alec Hunter will make your day. Alec Hunter is here to stay. Alec Hunter knows the way. Alec Hunter, king of crochet. Alec Hunter will make your day.
We are going to get started in just a second. I'm almost done eating. Thank you for being patient. Good evening, boys, girls, and NBs of all shapes, sizes, colors, and orientations. Welcome to the one and only Alec Gunter stream. My name is Alec Gunter, coming at you live from blistering Ohio. It is insanely hot out there. Holy shit. Your boy got a sunburn over the weekend. Really bad. You know, good stuff. Not fun. Not fun. Always wear your sunscreen. God damn it. I thought I had this perfect, and now it's not. There we go. Now it's perfect. All right, perfect. Always remember to wear your sunscreen. I don't care how sunny it is outside. Even if it's overcast, you can still catch some UV rays. There are people who swear up and down they wear sunscreen every day. In my head, I was like, oh, I'm only going to be sitting out there for a second while I eat. Well, a second turned into an hour. And I don't think I was out there for longer than like an hour and a half. But, man, not a good idea. I was cooked, dude. Cooked. Not as bad right now, but my God, like, I was trying to watch Walking Dead with Tina on Friday night. Yeah, and hydrate. Always hydrate. I got my water right here. And my Celsius energy drink, which is not hydrating, but I will be hydrating, I promise. I'll definitely not be drinking alcohol for the foreseeable future. Unlike I did last stream. Because that dehydrates you, and it also fucks up your brain. Anyway. Yeah, sun cooked me pretty good. I was watching Walking Dead with Tina, and I literally had to stop and be like, okay, my legs are on fire. I've got to go to the pharmacy and get some shit for this. And I did. And thankfully it's starting to heal. So, you know, my shoulder, actually, I didn't realize how bad this shoulder was. But it's just like barely starting to blister a little bit. You can probably see how red that is. Sexy Beast, thank you as always. Whoa, you said two things. That's crazy, Hydrant Campy. You don't usually do that. Yeah. Water and sunscreen. Your two best friends this summer, okay? Water and sunscreen. I'm considering putting on sunscreen every single day. Making it part of my morning routine. So. As far as our agenda, we're going to be looking at some, you know, like we usually do. We're going to be reacting to some stupid shit. I know that the election with Mondani is going on right now, which is probably why we're not getting a whole lot of people in here. A little bit of a slow night. No biggie, though. You guys love me. So, you know, actually, maybe we should check in on the election stuff. What do you think? We should probably check in now and then. New York primary from 10 minutes ago. New York City mayoral primary live updates. New Yorkers cast their ballots in critical Democratic primary for mayor. Yeah, it was really hot today. I haven't been following the race super closely, but what I do know is that it was very, very hot. So it's going to impact in-person voting, same-day voting. Or sorry, election day voting, I should say. Primary day voting. So, you know, that'll be good for us ultimately because we're more of the early voting and mail-in crowd on Mondani's side. After Chai Osei, a Brooklyn councilman, posted on X that some voters who had updated their addresses or party affiliations in the last week of registration were not showing up in the Board of Elections records and being turned away from polls. The Board of Elections responded, all new voters who registered by 6/14 are in the poll books, period. I don't think we have any results yet. Lander, who called Andrew Cuomo a supervillain at a rally on Monday night, said in Park Slope that the former governor has exuded no joy in running and exuded no love for the future of the city. That is true. Every time I've seen Cuomo, like, he just looks so miserable and bland. You know, like, there's no fire in him anymore. I don't know if there ever was. I don't know Cuomo that well. His illustrious governmental history of touching women inappropriately, against their will. So I don't know him that well, but what I do know is that his vibes are all off. A new update. What do we got? Just now. In a live video on Instagram with Representative AOC, Zorai Mamdani said the hours leading up to tonight's results have been, quote, overwhelming in the best way. He spent the day campaigning across the city and said his interactions with young, diverse voters have made him hopeful about the future of politics. Well, that's good. See, like, he's great. Everything I've seen about Mamdani gives me a lot of hope. I'm not personally, like, invested enough to be stressing about it. I haven't been really giving it much thought. I've been doing other things with my life, like crocheting. Speaking of which, right, I think we need a crochet update, as per the usual. But before I do that, like I said, I haven't been following it super closely. But it is very important. I do kind of wish that I had been telling people to get out the vote and, you know, phone in for primaries, you know, phone in for Mamdani. The volunteers for Mamdani, I've heard, were insane numbers. Like crazy, crazy numbers of people just willingly donating their time to this man and their money to this man, frankly. Because people are hungry for change. People are hungry for a progressive change. You know? Like rent freeze? Can't go wrong there. A lot of people renting these days. I have a TTRPG tonight. Feel free to show the boy off to the rest of the chat after I leave for that. Thank you for that. I will be doing that. Let me know when you leave. And don't look at the VOD. What Queen Laura is referring to is, of course, a... last year, I made a 1 parentheses 1 Gengar plush doll with my rudimentary plush doll making skills at the time. I was following a pattern, and I was not... At the time, I was very proud of myself, and I should have been. You know, for what it is, it's fine. But in lieu of showing you guys the most recent creation that I had just finished last night, here's the one from last year. Now, the story behind this, right, the reason that there's 2 of them is because this one is gone. He has disappeared off of the face of the planet. I don't know what happened to him, and I don't really care that much to look anymore, because after getting another look at him, I just... It doesn't look like Gengar. It doesn't look like Gengar. Like, it looks like it's trying to be Gengar, you know? It's Walmart Gengar. Great value Gengar. So I told Queen Laura, listen, I know you've been waiting a while, and we haven't really, like, you know, well, at first we thought he was porch pirated. Right? At first we thought it was porch pirated. So we just didn't think anything of it. We were just like, well, that sucks. I'll make you a new one eventually. So eventually is now, because Queen Laura and I will be meeting up this weekend at Indie PopCon in Indianapolis. If anybody else is going to be in Indianapolis this weekend, or you have some free time, I will be there. I will not be selling my crochet works this year. That's not until next year. I'll be doing some other stuff before then as well. I'll be trying to hit up some conventions. But I will not be selling at Indie PopCon this year. So, this was my first attempt at a Gengar. It's okay. I give it a solid 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. It's fine. Eyes are too big. Mouth... the whole face is too low on the body. The ears are too big. And the thing is, I followed a pattern for this. You know, I followed somebody's pattern for this. The one thing I might change... A valiant first attempt, exactly. The other thing I did was I gave him floppy arms, which I like. I like the floppy arms. But I did converse with Queen Laura about whether she preferred... Sorry, about whether one prefers the floppy arms or the, like, just static arms that are more accurate to what this looks like. If there is one... Now, I will say also, on the final design, the arms are a little bit chunkier than our boy right here. But I kind of like it. Personally, I like it. It makes him look more stout. You'll see what I mean when I show him off. It makes him look more stout, more gremlin-like. The only thing I might have changed is make him a little bit more round. Because the way that I did him this time is I followed my own pattern, right? I just kind of did it as I went. I like doing that now. Ditto Gengar. Not even. Not even. It's great value Gengar. That's all it is. But what I did this time is I kind of went, I followed the beat of my own drum on this one, okay? The only thing I would have done differently in hindsight is just make them a teensy bit more round. Because the way that you work in crochet, when you're doing amigurumi is what it's called, is you work in a circle, right? And you build the circle out first. And then you start to build the circle up. Now, if you only do that, you will get kind of a cylindrical shape, a little bit. But not so much cylindrical unless you purposefully make it like that. More like an oval. Okay? This doesn't quite demonstrate what I mean. But I did make this guy purposefully cylindrical. But like if you just work around with just one stitch over and over and over. Some of you may know this guy, by the way. Own tempo, yes, my own ability, my hidden ability. So like you just kind of work around up and up and up, right? But what I wish I had done is just like gave him a little bit more fat in the middle. You know, just like added some stitches towards the middle so that he's a little more round. But you can't tell. Like once I stitched everything on, you can't tell anymore. He looks nice and plump, stocky. I promise you, he's so good. He's so good. I based it off of this picture. It's so good. I'm so proud of it. Would you ever do sewed plushies? Like sewing? How to sew a plushie. Oh, like with felt. I mean, I might. I just really like crocheting. Like, it's not just about the final product. You know, like the final product is good. For those who don't know, this is the robot from Repo. He is on sale at the store. $65 dues. Fully posable arms. Okay. You can't twist it forever, but you can twist it like 3 times without it messing up, so it's fine. Movable mouth, because this is how the mouth moves in the game. Nice bulgy eyes. Unfortunately, he cannot stand on his own. He will have to be against a wall because his legs are very pointy canonically. But once you get him standing against a wall, he's a very nice display piece. Merchandising! Merchandising! I'm sure I'll love him. Listen, I don't want to toot my own horn, but since I already have been, I promise you, you will love him. Also, another thing about this one, the original pattern, right? I'm not saying this is wrong to do this, but the original pattern wanted you. First of all, it used double crochets on the ears. Now you can use double crochets in amigurumi. The only issue with that is that you're gonna have gaps, right? So you gotta use them responsibly. Like I only use double crocheting. Like for instance, I use double crochets for like the spikes on the new Gengar, which I'll get into in a second. But the other problem was it wanted me to like make each individual spike as like an amigurumi cone and then sew it on individually, right? And I was like, fuck that. So I'll show you here. I'll show you another thing to give you an idea of what I did. This is actually exactly what I did. So on the back, right? Originally, I was like, fuck that. I'm not doing that. And I just did not put any spikes on the back. So his back is completely bald in the first one. But as you can see, our original boy here, our OG, has plenty of spiky, lovey goodness, right? So what I did instead was, you can see here, I did a little bit of a different strategy for this dino than I did for the last one, for the spikes, because it's a little bit more frilly, you know? But I like it, you know? Like, he looks kind of like a fish monster, which is neat. So this was my experiment with this. Right? And this is kind of what the spikes look like on the back now. And there's plenty of them. And another thing with them is that, you know, you can like move them around and stuff. You can play with them. They're like hair. Whereas the cones would be static, you know, which is fine. I did the same thing for the toes and the fingies because on the original one, I don't know how well you can see. But in the original one here, Actually, let me get the OG picture from my chat with Queen Laura. Thank you for all the compliments. I do see you. I'm just hyper fixated on crocheting and probably will be for the remainder of my life, which is not a bad thing. Yeah, here we go. So as you can see, right? Oh, that's much better. Okay, so as you can see, right? The toes on this one, the piglets, are like little round, I think that's 4 single crochets that then you sewed onto the body. Like this guy, I'm sorry, whoever this guy was, his Gengar looked great for what here, let me find it actually. Let me find it. I can just find the pattern. It's a free pattern. Yep, this is the one. I think the main thing that I messed up, because his is so much better than mine, I think the main thing that I messed up is the face. Like, I did not make the face properly. But the way that he did the fingers and toes, I don't like as much. Because, and the spikes too. Because again, same thing with the spikes. You have to like individually crochet an amigurumi toe and then sew it on. And that's really annoying and tedious. The way that I did it, I personally believe looks better. This is very good. This person clearly has talent and skill, and he felted the eyes on, which is cool, but I can't felt. The only thing that I felted is the egg that I have on sale for $3 on the store. So if you want like a little dinosaur egg, you can buy that. So I've done a little bit of felting, but the thing about the yarn that I use is that you can't felt with it. So like, it's just, the material doesn't allow you to felt. So I use felt, you know, sheets of felt that I hot glue on. And I cut it out into the shapes and then hot glue it on. Whereas he's using like actual like stringy felt that he needles in, which is cool. But anyway, I also used his strategy of the yarn, you know, like this is all yarn that he's got in between. So I used his strategy for that. I did only give him 4 teeth though, because in the original, I don't think it matters that much, but in the original he only has 4 teeth. So that's another difference. But I digress. So like I said, I did my own pattern this time, made my own way. The only thing I did differently from the original pattern is the arms, because I wanted to make the arms nice and flappy. But I did not make them flappy this time, and honestly, Queen Laura, I think that was a really good call. Very good call, because I think that the chunky arms look so good. They look so good. Like, it's so good. Honestly, I don't know if the little noob that could is here, but he actually got the Haunter, which I can also pull up. So now I've made a Haunter and a Gengar. Oh, hold on. There it is. So this isn't the best picture of it, but this is the picture that the little noob that could sent of it. I think this is the first one that really... Not the first one. I think the first one that I was really, like, proud of was Bronzong, which I can also show you. I've shown off the Haunter before, so I won't waste time finding the good pictures. But let me find Bronzong real quick, because I just got a very cute picture from the person who bought it. There it is. Yeah, so I was proud of this one. I think this one was really good. I would give this a 7.5 out of 10. I think I would have done some things differently. But for the time that I had been crocheting, I've only been crocheting a little over a year now. So like for the time that I had been crocheting, I think that I did a very solid job on this. Now, here's some things that I would have done, right? 8 out of 10, thank you. So he's not an exact replica, obviously, but I did my best. For the time. I think if I were to redo him, I could build him better, faster, stronger. I would, instead of like the black that you got at the bottom here, I would still use black, but what I would do is what I did on this guy right here, okay? Oh man, we're licking views. You people have no appreciation for my art, you people who are leaving. $65 on Etsy. Go buy it. So what I did on this boy is I started at the bottom, right, obviously, and then I crocheted out. I did magic ring 8 increases, and then 1 single crochet followed by 1 increase 8 times. All right, and then I did what is called, and that's standard, and then I did what is called a back post single crochet. Okay, and what a back post single crochet is you put the hook behind the stitch that comes next, and then you put the hook then in front of the next stitch like you normally would. You pull the yarn through that, and then you finish the stitch. Now, why would I do this? Well, as you can see, you can actually see it better at the top here because I did the same thing. As you can see, our boy is nice and cylindrical. Not perfectly so because of this type of yarn. If I were using like regular, like standard sized acrylic yarn, it would be a perfect cylinder probably. It's a little bit harder to get the cylindrical shape with this size yarn, but I still think I did a pretty damn nice job. I did the same thing on the head as well, so it's nice and flat, right? So that's the first thing that I would have done differently on the bronzong is the back post single crochet. They wanted only yarn, no felt. So I couldn't use any felt if I wanted to. I do think if you wanted an optimal product here, like if you wanted to look exactly like bronzong, I think you have to use felt, right? Which is why I'm so impressed with myself for getting as close as I did. I think what I also would have done is made this green line a little bit thicker, right? Sewn it on a little bit more cleanly. Made a black outline going all the way around the silver halo here. Like, just little things that I would have fixed up here and there. But I think overall, this is a solid 7.5 out of 10. And I am very proud of this one. The wings were very good. I think I did a very solid job on the wings. I made 2 pieces for each wing, crocheted them together. I think it looks great. Okay, that's a great looking bronzong. Thank you. You can definitely tell what it's supposed to be. I think that's the most important thing, right? You can tell what it's supposed to be. You can tell that a lot of time and effort was spent on it. It's just like some things are a little bit sloppy, especially because towards the end, like I spent months trying to go back into this over and over and over again. And then finally towards the end, I just got so lazy about it. So, you know, I just kind of threw the rest together, which I feel bad about, but it is what it is. That was me. Don't freak out. We're about to talk to somebody. I was going to do react segments first, but I spent too long talking about the crochet stuff, so now we have to talk to somebody. I'm so here for some art discussion. It's a nice change of pace from usual online content. Listen, if you want fashion, you go to Vosh. If you want anime, you go to me or Hassan. If you want cooking, I know Actual Jake is a cooker, okay? Which is funny, I actually just saw, before we get on with this person, I just saw a video uploaded by Actual Jake. You guys remember the spoon guy? Here it is. Yeah, I haven't watched this yet, but you guys should watch it. Another cringe rant Sona incel. The aristocratic utensil. So Jake discovered the aristocratic utensil, somebody that I've had beef with previously. I just watched that. I'm sure it's great. Jake is such a treasure. I derive a lot of inspiration from him when it comes to my debate style these days. Whenever he talks to conservatives, he just treats them like the dumbasses that they are. I think that he laughs at them a little bit more than I do. I think I have kind of righteous fury, and I think I should. I'm not saying that it's bad, but I do think that I should dial it back just a bit and laugh more. I think I need to be goofier, like Jake does. But yeah, if you want cooking, you go to Jake. I was trying to backtrack to where I got here from. Magic the Gathering, you go to Cirrus. Crocheting, you go to me. Or any other crafty stuff. I love crafty stuff. I actually really want to get into glass crafting. Oh, I'm getting a message from... No. Unholy Baroness, since you're in the chat, I will pull you in. We can speak as long as you would like or as short as you would like. You know, I often think these conversations are going to be like 30 to 45 minutes, and then... If I could have talked longer to, what was her name again? The girl that got arrested? She was so cool. What was her name? Marcy Reingeist. Reingeist? Right, Jen. Rice cooker. What? Right, Jen. Marcy Reintgen, right? Alec is anime Sonic art. It's funny because I only know Sonic from Sonic Adventure 2. Like, I know, obviously I know his other games, but that's the main one I played. The transgender rice cooker, thank you. Marcy Rice Cooker. She was really cool. I would have talked to her longer if I didn't have to deprave myself, or debase myself, I should say, with the depraved lunatic known as Remnant 777. Okay, I know I keep saying I'm gonna pull her in. I'm gonna look at one thing real quick just to show you guys. For the most part, I'm going to be ignoring him from now on because I think it'll be the funniest thing I could possibly do. But I do want to show you guys, because we're releasing the debate tomorrow anyway, so I'm technically not done with him yet. But I wanted to show you guys the post that he made real quick after the debate. He says, I rage baited Alec Gunter and he raged quit. He raged quit. I tried to debate in good faith during the first 15-ish minutes, but after he refused to engage or even let me speak, I just decided to rage bait and troll him. It is incredibly edgy and funny. That's the problem. It was incredibly edgy and IDK if it's safe for YouTube, so I am figuring out what to do with it. FYI, the moment I realized he was dishonest, I decided to troll the hell out of him by saying absurd things to rage bait him. You shouldn't be taking it seriously as long as you aren't autistic. It's so bad, bro. He's coping so hard. He's like, oh, it's too edgy for YouTube. It's too edgy for... Okay, we'll see then. Maybe I'll get demonetized. We'll see. Maybe he's right. Maybe he'll be vindicated, but something tells me that it will be just fine. That kid has no idea what debating in good faith is. It's just... like... They can't be serious, right? Like, nobody's this stupid. He's a fucking coward, and he tried so hard to save face. When I make a mistake, I admit it. Okay? Who is that one guy that I was debating with IQ? And I fucked up. I didn't have the talking points very good. And I fucked up, and I said, you know what, guys? I'm sorry. I could have done better. I think I was cooking with the transgender stuff at first, but then we got into the IQ argument, and he just, like... I fumbled a lot, and I'm ashamed of that. But you know what? I still... Like, I owned it. You know? I owned it. For what it's worth, I don't think I did terrible the entire debate, just for, like, a little bit. I wish I had done better. I don't think it's okay to stumble with these people, if you can help it. Either that or I hold myself to a very high standard, which is also fine. But, like, I admit my mistakes, dude, okay? Just admit that, like, you had no idea that I was gonna pull up your fucking tweets and test you on them. And challenge and push back and be like, no, you. I pulled the Uno reverse card. I said, no, you. You think my rhetoric's so bad? Your rhetoric leads to lynchings. It does. So fuck you. Like, go bury yourself in a ditch, dude. Seriously. The world is better off without you. Grow and change as a person, or die trying. Anyway, I just thought that was funny. We'll move on. We have a very special guest, because all of my guests are special unless they're conservatives. Uh-oh. I actually should check. Baroness, since you're in the chat and I know you're listening, you can say in the chat or in the Discord, I don't care. Are you going to be screen sharing? Because if you are, that might be a problem. We might want to postpone if you're going to be screen sharing, because I have more RAM coming in. I'm finally going to download more RAM. I do plan to send 2 screenshots. That is perfectly fine, as long as there's no screen sharing. Good stuff. That debate pissed me off more than any other video I've ever watched. Yeah, it was pretty fucked up. Started trolling when he realized he's way out of his league. He was so far out of his fucking league, it wasn't even funny. Like, don't get me wrong. I hate the shit and piss out of Brad Palumbo. Okay? Brad Plumbus. But I am going to debate him, and I am going to prepare for that debate. You know, like, I do think he knows the talking points. I do think he is media trained enough that I want to be careful and watch my step. And I do, in a sense, respect him as a debate opponent. These last 2? Hell no. These last 2 were just bad. They were garbage. Garbage. And once again, Brad Plumbus is also a garbage person, but I do think that he is not garbage at debate, probably. So we will be preparing at least a little bit for that. Okay, Unholy Baroness, you are up. Start the recording. Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good, you?
I'm doing just fine, thank you. Chat, as always, make sure to tell me if either of us are too quiet or too loud. Alrighty. So, Unholy Baroness, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself? You can tell us what name you'd like to go by, your pronouns, maybe how old you are, and then what you are here to discuss today.
Yeah, my name's Aria, she, they pronouns. I'm 21, and I'm here to talk mostly about what I believe the law around sex work should be written as well as some of the, in my opinion, biggest problems that sex workers currently face that is able to be easily fixed legally.
Alrighty, excellent. Yeah, let me go back to your original ticket here. Just real quick. Okay, so yeah, I'd like to have a discussion on full-service sex work. Okay, so is there anywhere that you wanted to start specifically?
Well, in my experience, people who are not in the industry tend to have tend to have opinions on what the legal status of sex work should be that even when they try to prioritize the safety of sex workers, often fail to do so without realizing.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'd be curious to hear, before I tell you anything, if you believe that sex work providers, clients, and third parties who receive a percentage of the provider's profits should be legalized, criminalized, or decriminalized.
Can you repeat that for me one more time? So, what specifically should be decriminalized,
Uh,
legalized, or made illegal?
Three separate things: sex work providers, uh, people who pay for sex work, and third parties who receive a percentage of the profits of sex work for providing a service.
Sex work, people who receive percent of profit. So that would be like either employers or contractors, right?
Uh, yeah, examples of this would be like uh, a brothel that uh, receives a cut in exchange for providing a room, or an agency that receives a cut for doing the marketing and uh, you know organizing meets and stuff.
Okay. So you want my personal opinion on these things?
hmm
Okay.
and
So,
no
go ahead.
judgment. I've encountered a lot of sex workers who themselves don't, in my opinion, have the best ideas on these, so there's no judgment.
You are more than welcome to judge. So I personally, now I haven't looked into the issue like too much, and I know there's been a lot of back and forth with sex work. I think I came from a place where I thought that sex work should be illegal when I was a conservative, because conservatives just think that because they suck. But I kind of grew into the libertarian belief of why not, as long as everybody consents to it, it's fine, right? And then that kind of developed into the sex work is work point of view, whereby I think I was a little bit too positive about it for a long time, where like I would say, oh yeah, it should be like completely legal and all sex work should be respected, yada yada, et cetera, et cetera. Because I was kind of looking at it from a liberal lens, where it's like, well, we also need to take into account when we say sex work is work, we don't mean that it's good work. We don't mean that it's like better than other work. It just is work. And so we have to acknowledge that people are still exploiting their bodies, or using their bodies in a manner to collect money so that they can pay for their own existence in most cases. Of course, there are those who do sex work for fun. I'm not speaking about those people. I'm talking about the people who, decided, well, I can either flip burgers for a living or I can do sex work for a living. And throughout history, there often hasn't been a choice for, especially for women, because, women couldn't work. So, like, they would do illegal sex work. And that's how they would make their money and often feed themselves and even their kids. And it's very sad. So my position on it is sex work is work. I think that if you want to be a sex worker, if that is your chosen profession, you should be allowed to. And you should be respected and have rights and have insurance and be able to either work as a self-employed sex worker or for a company or for a contractor, just like any other job does. By extension, of course, people who pay for sex work, it's a service. I feel that it is a service that you are providing to the public, just like the burgers that you buy at McDonald's. Now how much of that? Now, to get to the third point, the people who receive percent of profit. I am a person I'm a socialist, so I believe in a worker-owned workforce. So in an ideal scenario, a sex worker would be either independent and making all of their own money, or working with some sort of co-op of sex workers who all share the profits equitably and have a democratic workforce. So that's how I look at it. Hopefully that answers the question.
Uh, yeah, I'd say I'd ask one question of clarification, and that
Sure.
is, if you think that sex work uh, should be uh, legal, as in it's just not a crime to do it, or if people should have to be approved to do it in order to prevent, let's say, kids, for example, from doing it, or
Oh yeah,
people
absolutely.
who are in extreme poverty.
Absolutely. I think as far as extreme poverty goes, I mean, if you are in extreme poverty, I believe in, if you're asking for my moral consideration on that matter, if I were king of the world, I would say there is no extreme poverty. Like, anybody who were to be in extreme poverty would just get the shit they need. And if they want to do sex work after that, that's their choice. As far as, like, people who are too young, of course, like, you can't work a bar if you're under the age of 21. So, I don't know if 18 should be the cutoff. I don't know. Personally, I think 21 would be more comfortable for me for sex work. I just like 18, it just seems very young. But that's what we consider an adult in this society. So as long as we do, if you're an adult and society says you're an adult, you should be allowed to do whatever the hell you want. So, that's my stance on it. It should be regulated. You should be, kind of trained in a way to make sure that you're, abiding by certain standards. I haven't really thought about the details, but once again, hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah.
Okay.
On a moral sense, I, completely see where you're coming from. I fully, uh, see your position as having the best intentions in mind, but
Okay.
in practice, that would be, in my opinion, not a great system, because it would incentivize sex workers who aren't legally allowed or licensed to perform sex work, to who are also in situations where they are really financially desperate, uh, to still do the sex work but do it illegally, and in order to get clients willing to do it illegally, they'd often have to lower the prices to significantly below what the legal sex workers would charge, which, in my opinion, is just even more exploitative of those people.
Sure. I guess my contention of that would be, once again, I'm in favor of social programs. So, like, if you want to tackle the issue of people in poverty, we need social programs for them. Everybody should have a house. Everybody should have food. Everybody should have clean running water, et cetera, et cetera. So, like, in an ideal world, I just think that if you want to do sex work, you can do sex work. As far as, like, exploiting people in poverty at the moment, we already do that, like, with other professions. So when it comes to, like, like working a grill or a fryer in a McDonald's, that is also selling your body. That is also being
No,
demeaned. So, like, if it's between that or doing sex work and you pick sex work, like, that's your choice. Now, it's not an ideal choice. It's one that's forced upon you by capitalism. But it's a choice nonetheless, and I think you should have it. It's better than not having it. It's better than saying, oh, no, you don't get to pick between sex work and McDonald's. You have to work at McDonald's because sex work's illegal for you because you don't make enough money.
uh, yeah, I do agree completely uh, with your take on that. I'm more so thinking about this in the context of what is feasibly realistic within, say, like 10, 15 years in the US, which I don't see socialized housing.
Sure. I agree.
Yeah.
I guess my question to you would be, so you mentioned, like, people in poverty being taken advantage of. So what's the solution then if they can't do sex work?
Uh, I'm not saying that they shouldn't do sex work, or that they shouldn't be allowed to do sex work.
Okay.
The uh, sorry, the issue that I had with uh, what your answer to that was that uh, people who aren't approved to do the sex work for whatever reason would still do it, but because of the legal system in place to allow people to do it legally, they'd have to significantly lower the rates at which they would charge So
You're talking about
whereas,
like back alley sex work.
essentially, yeah.
Okay, so my contention with that is, my question would be, can you give me an example of this, like somebody who has been denied the ability to do, like, are you talking about like people who are 16?
Uh, I to be very, very clear up front,
Sure.
people who have, I believe that people who hire, 16-year-old sex workers or whatever should be arrest arrested and put in jail. Absolutely.
Of course,
I am
pedophilia
not,
bad.
yeah, I'm not advocating for pedophilia. I'm just saying that there shouldn't be an additional crime that the 16-year-old would face for selling themselves.
No, of course not. I do think that if the 16-year-old were to be like, selling their body on the market, like, again, I just don't know what another solution. I don't even think a 16-year-old should be forced to work a fryer in McDonald's. Like, that's dangerous. And also, like, 16-year-olds are in high school and need to do their homework and hang out with their friends and play sports and be kids. So, like, I think I understand we're working within the framework of capitalism and what's feasible within the near future. When we're talking about like in the near future policies, if you have a 16-year-old apply to be a sex worker, obviously we're going to say no, you can't do that. If the 16-year-old then turns around, starts an OnlyFans, lies about her age, and then starts collecting money from creepy dudes on the internet, like, like the only way to stop her from doing that is to stop her. Like, somebody has to catch her in the act, like her parents or somebody from the government who recognizes her or something, like she's like that I
Yeah.
don't, sorry, I'm sorry if I don't understand where you're going with this, but like I'm trying to make sure we're on the same page here.
Yeah, no, sorry. That's fair. M- my view on the context, I guess, is a little bit different than yours.
Okay.
A lot of my friends, for example, who are, also sex workers, uh, would have entered the industry as like as homeless, like 16, 17-year-olds. So
It happens,
that,
and that's very unfortunate.
yeah, that would be a very different kind of sex work than OnlyFans, uh, in terms of both the safety of the person involved and uh, you know it, it's often done uh, for survival in those cases because there is no other option.
Right. So it's already illegal to do that if you're 16. The solution is not to jail the 16-year-old, it's to house them and feed them, right? And
No, I
I
agree.
personally do think, by the way, that is feasible. I do think that part is feasible. Like, if we say right now that in the immediate future without socialism that it's not feasible to feed literal children who are like selling their bodies for money, then like I just don't believe that we live in that society. I think that we have enough people and enough, eventually, hopefully, enough power to change that. Like, and when I say eventually, I mean like in the near future. So I
Uh,
don't see a problem with like anything that I've said. What I'm hearing is a problem with the system that we live in.
it is a problem with the system we live in.
Right.
Uh,
Okay.
I I don't know. I think that you are viewing the system and what potential change we can achieve within the next 10, 15 years more optimistically than I do. Uh,
What changes would you make that are different than the ones that I would make?
my position is that uh, sex workers
Mhm.
uh, themselves should be decriminalized, but not legalized, as in not given specific regulations and that have to be abided by.
Okay.
Um, I believe that the clients who pay for them should also be decriminalized, but not regulated as to who can purchase sex work. It's worth noting that existing laws against you know having sex with children, for example, would still be in place. There just wouldn't be additional laws in place for paying for sex with the children. Uh, and third party people who profit off of sex work should be legalized with regulation in place. The regulation that I want for them would be like frequent one-on-one meetings between social workers and the providers who work for them, uh, frequent detailed audits of their businesses, routine drug testing of their providers, stuff like that, just to ensure that everyone involved is a consenting adult who is not being abused in any way.
What you're describing to me is literally just the capitalization of, like, or the privatization, I should say, of sex work. Like, it's only legal if you work for a corporation.
Not illegal if you work for a corporation, just corporations would have more regulations than someone doing it on their own.
Well, because someone doing it on their own would be doing it illegally, in your view, or at least like in a way
No,
that's, well, it's decriminalized, but it's not quote unquote legal. Like, there's a difference.
sorry. Yeah, the distinction that I'm using between legalized and decriminalized would be like how I'll give examples. Alcohol, tobacco, and driving in the US are things that are legal. They have regulations around them, whereas decriminalized things like cross-dressing, homosexuality, and public breastfeeding are things that used to be illegal and are now decriminalized.
Okay, so it should be, it should be legal for me to start an OnlyFans, right?
Yes,
Okay.
just without specific regulations on uh, uh, yeah,
Mhm.
without specific legal regulations affecting individuals who start an OnlyFans. However, OnlyFans being a third party, uh, if they allow kids to be creating accounts, they would be punished under this system because they're the regulated third party. The kids themselves, though, wouldn't be legally punished for trying to create an account.
So what I'm hearing, though, I feel like we're talking past each other, because I don't feel like anything you're saying is conflicting with anything that I believe about how sex work ought to be.
Uh, that that is fair. I'm the biggest distinction between our views, in my opinion, is that someone who does not work for a third party, someone who you know advertises uh, their services on their own and meets clients on their own, uh, there should be no legal regulation on who's allowed to do that specifically, uh, outside of existing laws on you know what counts as assault.
Okay. I think we're on the same page. Um, it's just a matter of, like, it's my body. If I want to make pornography of it, or go and have sex with people and they give me money, I should be allowed to do that. And I think that the part that would be, I think the part that I put aside, like, decriminalized versus legalized. What I want
Yeah.
in the immediate future is a system in which you can start an OnlyFans, you can go have sex with people, whatever, and collect money from it. You're allowed to do it. You can set your menu, blowjob, $50, whatever. Give a blowjob, guy gives you $50, and then you can report that to the IRS as work, right? Like, you don't have to say
Yeah.
specifically. You can just say, like, it was service work. I'm a service worker, right? And that's how you report that $50 and pay taxes on that $50. You know, you don't have to like beat around the bush with it. You don't have to hide or launder money. That's just how you make your money, and that's fine. We're on the same page in that regard, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
fully.
Okay, cool. Okay. I think that we talked in circles a little bit, so no worries. But I do think we agree, unless you feel differently. I feel like we agree on the system that we are looking for, at least in the immediate future.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Perfect. Sorry, I
Uh,
didn't mean to get into like an argument or anything. I was just trying to
yeah, no,
make sure we're
no
all on the same
worries.
page here. All right, cool. So, so as far as I'll just ask you, where do you where would you like to take this conversation next?
Uh, I I'll bring up a couple other common uh legal positions that people have, and I'll explain my thoughts on why it's wrong.
Sure.
Um, After that, there's a few major issues affecting sex work that I'd want to talk about, and how to be safer about it, without telling anyone how to uh, enter the industry, but providing information for people who are in the industry, how they can be safer about it if they already are there.
Sure. Sounds good.
Um, so I myself am Canadian,
Hmm.
and we do have a different legal status up here than you do in the U.S. Up here, it is decriminalized for the provider. However, it's criminalized for clients
Excuse me.
and third-party uh, organizations in uh, full service work, which is meeting up with the client. This wouldn't be porn or OnlyFans.
Okay.
And on paper, it's a system that sounds good because it punishes anyone who exploits people, while not punishing the exploited people for seeking help in case they get robbed or beaten or worse.
Okay.
Um, but in practice, it tends to give the Johns a feeling of John is slang term for clients within the industry.
Okay.
It gives clients the feeling of, oh, sex workers can just take all my money, then call the police and have me arrested. Uh, they also tend to never view themselves as a potential risk for the worker. And it creates a false uh, sense of who's taking the bigger risk within clients, and it drives prices down dramatically compared to even where both positions are criminalized. Uh, like what I can make here in Canada is maybe a fifth to a quarter of what I would be able to make if I drive for a few hours to the US.
Hmm.
Uh, and on top of that price decrease, uh, the expectation for uh, medium to high end sex workers within the US is that condoms would be worn, whereas under this system, on top of the massive price decrease, there's also the expectation that condoms won't be worn because if the guy is the one taking all of the risk, uh, then he should be able to choose if uh, condoms are worn or not. Whereas in a system where either both are legal or both are criminal, uh, an equal amount of risk is shared in these guys' minds.
So wait, it's just so I'm clear. You said it's legal to do sex work, but illegal to have it or to purchase it.
Yes.
That's really stupid. Like that's
Uh, I
like what's the
agree.
point?
The point on paper is to make sex work illegal, while also not punishing
Oh,
sex
I
workers
see.
for
Okay,
coming
yeah,
forward.
got it. But like, if you're saying that it's okay to be a sex worker, then you are saying that it is okay for people to purchase your sex work. Like that, you have
Uh,
to have one and the other.
I'd say not necessarily. I would support. This is a little bit off topic, but I would support, for
Sure.
example, a system where uh, the purchase of drugs is legal, but the sale of drugs is not. And this is uh, not the same situation, but a similar situation in which it isn't. Yeah,
Well, right, but like that's opposite, right? Like if you're saying,
uh, it is. However, the person uh, being exploited in both cases is the one that isn't going to be arrested.
understood. I think though it doesn't work in the way that they do it in Canada, because like you said, if the person purchasing the sex work, the client, is the one assuming all of the risk of it, of getting in trouble, then they're going to make more demands. They're going to be more suspicious. Like it results
Yep.
in a decline of the entire structure. Like nobody trusts
Yeah.
each
What?
other, and like it's not a good. It's just not a good system.
Uh, I fully agree. I'm just bringing it up because it is a system that I have heard people, uh, including people who would describe themselves as leftist, and for the most part they are,
Hmm.
try and claim that they believe that that is the better system because it disincentivizes people from exploiting people for sex work, but still allows for sex workers to come forward.
Okay, yeah,
Uh,
I think that's a silly system.
mm,
I can see your
uh,
point.
yeah, I fully uh, am in agreement that it's a silly system. It's just
Cool.
that is the reasoning for people who believe in that.
Right. I understand the reasoning,
Mm,
but I think we agree.
yeah.
Okay. And just
Um.
to be clear, that is what they have in Canada currently, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty shitty. Sorry you have to deal with that.
Yeah. Don't be. Uh. But no, yeah. I'll give an example.
Okay.
Um. I'm not gonna dox myself, but I'll say, in terms of region I'm in, New York City is maybe a 6-hour drive from where I am.
Okay.
Uh, Up here, uh, for an hour of work, I could probably, at most, get away with charging 200 Canadian for an hour, which is like 150 US.
Okay.
If I were to go to New York, uh, I'd be able to easily get 400 US an hour, and that's with the added, uh, you know, now condoms are used in the US and they aren't up here.
Yeah, that's just why I think it should be regulated across the board. Like, I'm
Yeah,
not saying, yeah, I'm not saying that I want to like restrict what individual sex work providers can do. I'm just saying that like there need to be standards that protect both, like mainly the workers, but also the clients. Like obviously, like the workers are the ones most at risk and the ones most prone to violence, but it can happen the other way too. And also, you run the risk of like having sex workers with diseases that are unchecked and such, and not making that clear to their clients. So, like, I just think that a regulated sex workforce would be the best way to go.
uh, I don't I don't disagree on a moral sense, but I don't think that tends to work in practice.
Okay.
For example, someone who, I'll just say, homeless, doesn't have a job and desperately needs money to survive, but also has HIV, under that regulation system, wouldn't be allowed to legally be a sex work or legally perform sex work because of the HIV.
Well, right. I
Uh,
think in that case, though, in a case like that, you would have to take that. Like, let's say that that person were arrested for illegally engaging in sexual activity, knowingly having AIDS, right? Okay. Now, in a proper society, in a proper structure of the society, we look at this person's circumstances and say, well, that was what they had to do to get by. And I think that a reasonable jury would see it the same way and say, well, if the city had just given this person the shit they needed to live, this wouldn't have happened. You know, that's how I see it going down personally. I don't know if that's idealistic, but I do think that regulations are important. It's like it would be like having an unregulated drug market. Like if you're a poor person, but you know how to grow, or you know how to like synthesize some kind of crack cocaine, but it's dangerous because your shit's contaminated. This happens all the time, and that's why I think like having regulations and then stopping people who are not abiding by those regulations is a good thing.
uh, it it is and it isn't, because, in my opinion, because people will end up, you know, trying to sidestep the regulations, and
Sure.
in these cases, like with sex work, in order to sidestep a system that is already legal and in place, in order to get people to uh, pay for you illegally, you'd have to lower your prices dramatically compared to anyone who's doing it legally. Which
Okay, but that doesn't
it yeah,
change. I don't think that changes anything that I just said, though.
uh, I don't know. In my opinion, uh, anything that any legal system in place that incentivizes people with HIV, for example, who are living on the streets, desperate for money. Any system that incentivizes those people to lower their prices compared to if they didn't have HIV is overall harmful to them.
Okay, I guess like
I
if
I
we
don't
look
have a perfect solution. It's just,
right,
in
I
my
guess
opinion,
if we look at it in terms of like any other profession, right? Like let's take crocheting for example, since that's what I do and I sell crochet stuff. Like if I only had one arm, for instance, and people had to wait longer and have a lower quality product than if they were to commission somebody with not one arm, like they would pay less. Like if you're a person with AIDS and you really want to do sex work, you like you should have to make it known. I am diagnosed with
oh
HIV and I am HIV
yeah,
positive
yeah.
and I'm on medication for it and you're not going to get it, and as long as we, use protection and whatever, there's no way you'll get it. But you have to know that I have that. And if that results in you needing to decrease your prices a little bit, like that's capitalism.
Uh, I get it. I do think there's one small misunderstanding though.
Sure.
Uh, the so it already is a crime to not disclose that you have
Right.
HIV if you know you have it. So that should still absolutely be a crime, and sex workers who have it should disclose it. Uh, what I am uh, saying is that there shouldn't be it shouldn't be actively illegal if you do disclose that you have it
Right. I don't
to
think so
provide
either.
sex.
I don't think
Oh,
so either.
all right.
But what I
Sorry,
heard
I must
was
have misunderstood.
no, it's okay. What I heard though was you don't want regulations on individual sex workers, and I disagree. Because that is a regulation. You have to disclose, and I know you're like it's illegal to not disclose that, but like that is kind of a regulation. Like you are violating sex worker regulations by not disclosing certain information to your customers.
Okay. Yeah, I
It's like
I disagree with that.
it's illegal to sneak rat shit into somebody's food, right? And
No, yeah,
so
yeah.
regulations would dictate if there is rat shit in your food as a restaurant, you're gonna get shut down. That's a regulation. It is in no way legal to secretly feed somebody rat shit, even by accident. You can even be held responsible for negligence if that happens. Like even if you didn't know anything about it, and that is a regulation.
No, I know.
Okay.
I disagree with it being considered a regulation on sex workers for STIs, specifically because if you already, if you're not a sex worker and you don't disclose that you have an STI, that is a form of rape. And I don't think
Okay. So
that,
here's
hey,
where the
you're not allowed to rape people is a
here's where the
specific
regulation
regulation.
here's where the regulation would come in my opinion. You need to get checked every year that you're a sex worker. You need to get checked for STIs. I think that is a fair, reasonable, and uh, uh, it's just fair and reasonable expectation, and that will keep everybody, all parties involved, safe, and it makes sure everybody's on the same page. I mean, do you feel like if you go 6 years as a sex worker, never get tested, and don't know that you're carrying anything, you could very well be carrying something and just giving it to people. And it's not like you're doing anything illegal because you don't know. But if the regulation is in place, you need to get checked for STIs because you are a sex worker. Like I have to get vaccines because I'm a nurse. It's a regulation. I think that there should be regulations in place for sex workers, regardless of whether you're individual or if you work for a company.
Yeah, that
Yeah, and clients too.
yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
Absolutely. Uh, in
Okay.
practice, I don't necessarily know if that would work, but
How would it not
uh,
work though? Like I have to get vaccines every year.
no, I get that. I'm
Okay.
just in practice, if regulations are put in place to make it so people who do sex work individually need to uh, get tested every however amount of time. Uh,
Yeah.
what's then stopping the government from increasing that to, hey, if you are sexually active with 10 or more people a year, you need to uh, get tested, which I wouldn't
Because you would
be
have a
necessarily.
team. So the way that it works in nursing is we have a team of professionals, right? We have boards
Uh,
of people who make
yeah,
these
but
regulations, and they make
uh,
those decisions. And if we have issues with those decisions and any regulations, we can put forward our 2 cents and say, hey, these regulations don't make sense. They're stupid.
uh, I'd say the biggest difference between the two, though, would be that you need, to be licensed and have a degree to be a nurse, whereas uh, that shouldn't be required to do sex work. Like
You don't need to be
if someone,
I also own an LLC. I own a company. So like I don't need to be licensed and have a degree to own a company, but I still have regulations I need to abide by.
yeah,
It just
uh,
seems silly. Like I'm sorry that we're stuck on this, but like regulations just make both parties safer. It gives us more communication between the parties, and it makes sure that we're all on the same page.
I agree with that. I'm just scared of people who, uh,
Okay,
in the,
let's
in
back up.
cases where regulations are in place, people who sidestep the regulations, do it illegally,
Yes.
which tends to hurt the sex workers themselves more than it hurts the clients.
Okay, if they do something, if they don't get tested, then they should get in trouble because that's the regulation that you're supposed to abide by. If there's a reason you can't get tested, we need to have a system in place of some sort where you can submit the reason that you can't, right? And
Yeah,
in that case, right, you may have to suspend your sex work for a while until you can figure that out. This just seems reasonable to me. Like what you're arguing, it sounds like, and I know you're not trying to, but what you're arguing for is, well, this person's gone 6 years without ever getting tested for STIs once, had sex with over 100 people, and that should be fine. I'm not saying the person should get in trouble. I'm just saying that if we lived in a reasonable society, that's how it would work. We would have regulations on both sides of the equation.
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
For the specifics on STI testing, I probably need a little bit of time to work out my exact thoughts and reasoning and how to best word it.
sure.
Uh, we're, though, on this topic 99% in agreement. Any disagreement, I do believe, would just be miscommunication
Okay,
on both of our parts.
okay. I was gonna ask you to, like, if you want, to clarify what your ideal situation would be. Like, take capitalism out of the equation, whatever else, like exploitation. Like, if
Yeah, I
unless you want
go
to move
back and
on,
forth.
go ahead.
In terms of ideal situation, I go back and forth on various kinds of socialism and communism.
Okay,
Uh, uh,
but
views
my
change.
go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. My views change enough and frequently enough that I can't say any specific system. Uh, but yeah,
If
anything's
I
better
could,
than capitalism.
sure, if I could clarify, what I mean is as far as sex work goes, right? So, like, if you could design a society where everybody's needs are taken care of, right, whatever that may be, and you have somebody who says, I want to be a sex worker. This is the thing that I want to do and provide to society. I like sex. I want to give people orgasms and give them pleasure and have them have a good time. That is my passion. And it's a valid passion and a valid form of art, even. Okay, sex work is wonderful in that way. It can be. So, and so that being the case, this person says this. What is like, and they want to be like an individual provider. Like,
Mm,
what I would say is that they should still abide by certain regulations, and I just want to know if you agree with that.
Okay, yeah. Ideal world scenario like that.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree that people
Okay.
should be forced to abide by certain regulations.
Okay.
In addition to that, I'd just clarify that I don't believe that violations of these regulations would necessarily result in prison instead of, you know, other forms of not punishment, but a way of
Rehabilitation.
protecting people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rehabilitation, re-education, et cetera, et cetera. I got you. I agree. We're in
yeah.
agreement.
I mean, not even necessarily uh, rehabilitation, uh, but just a system in place to protect the person. Like I, for
Yeah.
example, would have uh, started sex work as a minor. It was not out of a financial desperation, though. It was out of a desperation of parents did not accept me as trans, and
Sorry to hear that.
people who did were willing to pay, which is it is me being exploited, but it also
Of
not
course.
something that I would need to be re-educated on. It's just I would need, a safe, loving home.
Yes, you would need. Yeah, exactly. The ideal situation there is obviously get you out of there. If it's something, I don't know if this was you. You don't have to say, but if this is something that like they think they are enjoying doing, then you need to find a way to redirect that and make sure that they don't continue doing it, even if they're placed in a new home. Like this is an individualized problem, right? Like I agree
Oh
that
yeah, there are multiple
ideally,
reasons people could
yeah,
be like that.
yeah, yeah. I think we agree on that point.
Mhm. Um, all right, so yeah, that basically would cover all of the legal opinions on it. Do you want to talk
Okay,
about some major issues that I feel should be talked about?
absolutely.
Um, are you familiar with FOSTA SESTA?
I am not.
So they were some bills that Trump signed into law back in 2018 during his first term.
How do you spell that?
Uh, FOSTA and SESTA.
Okay, got it. Just pulling it up.
They were meant to target child sex trafficking. So as long as you ignore the fact that the Department of Justice said that it would actually make it harder to prosecute sex traffickers, what the bill ended up doing in practice was shut down most of the websites that independent providers would advertise their services on, which allowed the remaining few sites to jack up their prices, as is capitalism. But yeah, this would be a very, yeah, I'd say 2018 is a very recent example of the legal system going out of its way to make uh, independent sex work more difficult.
Okay. So, Republicans doing what they do best, just fucking things up for everybody.
Yeah.
Right. Gotcha.
Uh, it was, I forget who it was, but it was one of the higher ups in the Department of Justice who wrote a letter to the Senate, I believe, about how, hey, these are a few reasons as to why this bill would actually make it harder to prosecute sex traffickers, but that was ignored.
Was it the American Civil Liberties Union
Uh,
ACLU letter
no,
opposing SESTA?
I don't believe so. I can pull it up if you give me 1 minute.
Take your time. How's chat doing? They aren't understanding the question. In an ideal world, how would sex work be regulated in their mind? I think we're fine. We reached an understanding. How would 1 year provide any safety? I'd say monthly would make more sense, if not weekly. Wait, monthly or week?
Uh,
That's pretty crazy. That's a little much.
it's worth noting that HIV on most self-tests won't be detectable for 6 months, and even in lab tests, from what I've seen, isn't really detectable within the first 3 months. So,
If you are,
yeah,
while you were looking for that, I'll just explain the soda account here. If you are regulating in both directions and you're saying the sex worker needs to be tested every year, the customer needs to have a test that is at least a year old, or sorry, at most a year old, right? So they're both being tested once a year. That will it won't be perfect, but that will significantly cut back on how many people get STDs as a result of sex work. I think that monthly or weekly is a little bit overkill, personally. You want to make an argument for like every 6 months, sure, but like that would be the most I would do. Prison shouldn't
yeah,
exist in the first place. I agree.
and also, if we're talking ideal world where all medication is free, for example, uh, unless they have an adverse reaction to it, all sex workers and clients as well should be on PrEP.
Yes.
Um,
Agreed. Just let me know when you find that letter. Take your time.
Yeah, yeah. 1 second.
Chat, I'm crocheting a chessboard as we speak. It's gonna look great. I already got some pawns done. So I'm working on the squares right now. I gotta make 32 of each of these bad boys. One of each color, of course. 32 of each color, I mean. And then they're all gonna be sewn together. And then I'll have my nice little chessboard. I was mainly talking about hepatitis C, and yes, I agree. Sex work should include a mandatory test that should be paid for by insurance. I'm not trying to argue against sex work at all. I just want something. Regulations, I'm assuming. I do too. You just want everybody to be safe. We're all on the same page. Yeah, exactly. Soda count. I got you. I'll just read through this Wikipedia article a little bit.
Yeah.
To clarify the countries... Go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry. I should have it soon. I'm just...
Okay.
sorry.
They clarify the country's sex trafficking law to make it illegal to knowingly assist, facilitate, or support sex trafficking and amend the Section 230 Safe Harbors of the Communications Decency Act, which make online services immune from civil liability for the actions of their users, to exclude enforcement of federal or state sex trafficking laws from its immunity. Senate sponsor Rob Portman had previously led an investigation into the online classified service Backpage, which had been accused of facilitating child sex trafficking, and argued that Section 230 was protecting its, quote, unscrupulous business practices, end quote, and was not designed to provide immunity to websites that facilitate sex trafficking. SESTA received bipartisan support from U.S. senators, the Internet Association, as well as companies such as 21st Century Fox and Oracle, who supported the bill's goal to encourage proactive action against illegal sex trafficking. SESTA was criticized by pro-free speech groups for weakening Section 230 safe harbors, alleging that it would make providers become liable for any usage of their platforms that facilitates sex trafficking, knowingly if they moderate for such content, and with reckless disregard if they do not proactively take steps to prevent such usage. SESTA was incorporated into the House version of the bill with the Allow States and Victims to Fight Online Sex Trafficking Act, and the joint proposal was known as the FOSTA-SESTA package. On February 27, 2018, the FOSTA-SESTA package was passed by the House in the House of Representatives with a vote of 388 to 25. Signed into law by President Trump on April 11, 2018. Reaction, support. Let's look at the criticism. Writing on behalf of the U.S. Department of Justice, Assistant Attorney General Stephen Boyd addressed Chairman of the House Judiciary Committee Bob Goodlatte, expressing concerns that the provisions of the bill would make it even harder to prosecute sex traffickers. Additionally, he expressed concerns that certain provisions would violate the Constitution's ex post facto clause and thus be unconstitutional. The ex post facto clause... It's a law that retroactively changes the legal consequences or status of actions that were committed or relationships that existed before the enactment of the law. In criminal law, it may criminalize actions that were legal when committed. It may aggravate a crime by bringing it into a more severe category than when it was committed. It may change the punishment. Okay, so yeah, it's basically hindsight changing the charges, usually to make them more, to make them worse. So like you steal a candy bar and you do it while it's a misdemeanor, and then the government decides to make stealing candy bars a felony, and then when you get caught for it, they charge you with a felony, which is not fair.
Yeah. Here, in the ticket, I just sent you a link.
Okay, great.
The specific concerns brought up would be the mainly in the second paragraph of the second page.
Second paragraph of the second page. The
Yep.
department believes that any revision to 18 USC 1591 to define, quote, participation in a venture, end quote, is unnecessary. Section 1591 already sets an appropriately high burden of proof, particularly in cases involving advertising. Under current law, prosecutors must prove that the defendant knowingly benefited from participation in a sex trafficking venture, knew that the advertisement related to commercial sex, and knew that the advertisement involved a minor or the use of force, fraud, or coercion. That all seems reasonable to me. While well-intentioned, this new language would impact prosecutions by effectively creating additional elements that prosecutors must prove at trial. In the context of the bill, which also permits states to bring actions for conduct equivalent to Section 1591, we are also mindful that this language could have unintended consequences as applied by the states. So basically what it's saying here is that you need to prove more than just that. Like, it makes it harder. You need to prove more than just that the person knew about it and there was coercion involved and or the person was a minor, which, of course, in that case, there is coercion, etc. So that's interesting. Okay. Section 4. So basically, FOSTA SESTA not only made it harder for sex workers to do their thing, but also made it harder to prosecute sex traffickers.
Yeah.
Great. So kill two birds with one stone. Nice.
The American way.
Yep.
There's also, this is fairly relevant to what you were talking about while I was trying to find the letter.
Sure.
As of about 6 months ago, sex work is now a felony in 3 states. It used to be just a misdemeanor.
Oh, that's great.
Yep. North Carolina, Texas, and Oklahoma.
Good stuff, because, you know, if there's one thing that should be a felony.
Yep. Reason why it's been made a felony is mostly due to an organization called the National Center on Sexual Exploitation pushing for those laws. And while they brand themselves as a feminist organization meant to counter sex trafficking, it's worth noting that they were only renamed to the National Center on Sexual Exploitation in 2015. Prior to 2015, since the 60s when they were founded, they were called Morality in Media, and their biggest claim prior to trying to get sex work banned was claiming that mass shootings happen in the U.S. because the U.S. is the only country that allows gay marriage and atheism.
That's incredible. I agree.
Yep.
I agree. Outlaw atheism and outlaw gay marriage, and then the school shootings will stop. That's the problem.
Yeah. I mean, look at Europe. There's no gay marriage, there's no atheism, and all of a sudden there are no mass shootings.
Yep. Pretty crazy. There's no other difference between them and us.
Yeah.
What is this? National Center on Sexual Exploitation.
That would be the organization I just mentioned.
Yep. Somebody linked to the Wikipedia page. Yep. American Conservative Anti-Pornography Organization. That's all you need to know.
Mm-hmm. They also tried getting sex toys banned by, was it Nixon or Reagan? Or both?
Probably both. Who knows? But yeah, you know, just standard conservative stuff making everybody's lives worse.
Yep. Did you know more people in the U.S. get arrested for prostitution than they do for rape?
I could have guessed that if you had asked me on a multiple choice or like a true false test.
Yeah.
Probably would have gotten that one right. Doesn't surprise me, certainly.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, our president's a rapist, so there you go.
True. I've had a few friends go to the cops after being assaulted by clients, and several different friends have said that several different cops that they've gone to have said something along the lines of, well, what did you expect to happen? It's an occupational risk.
Well, a lot of the cops themselves are fucking rapists, so of course. I mean, what is it, like 55% are self-admitted wife abusers? Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Um,
So, no surprise.
yeah.
Is there anything else,
It,
legally speaking, that you'd like to touch on?
uh, I'd say there's, yeah, one more
Sure,
legal thing.
sure.
Uh, so most of the time when the police, sorry, 1 second.
You're fine.
Sorry, I'm just getting over a cold right now.
You're fine, no
Most of the
worries.
time when the police do a sting to try and catch sex workers, they have an undercover cop meet with the provider, and then after giving them money, they would arrest them, and yeah, that
Yeah,
alone
no,
is fucked
I've
up,
heard
in
of
my
that.
opinion.
Yeah. So not only do they get the sex work, right? They get the service, and then they give the person the
Yeah,
money. Like they then
uh,
get to arrest the person who fucking jerked them off or whatever. Like that's great, you know?
yeah, no, yeah, sorry. I was just saying that most of the time, they give them the money and then arrest them. But there are, like you just mentioned, lots and lots of cases of cops going through with the actual sex before arresting them, which
Sure, why not?
I feel I can make a compelling argument as to why that's rape, uh, considering the
Sure,
provider
call it
is,
rape. I don't even give a shit. You don't have to make an argument to
yeah,
me. Yeah, charge him for
yeah.
rape.
Mhm. It gets worse though.
Oh boy.
In 2017, the Anchorage Police Department's deputy chief, Sean Case,
Mm-hmm.
who has since been promoted to the chief, opposed a
Cool.
bill that would make it uh, illegal for cops to make sexual contact with someone that they're investigating. He
Okay.
initially said that the reason he opposes the bill is because if it passes, anyone being investigated by an undercover cop can just ask the cop to just touch their breasts to check if they're a cop or not. When that
What?
argument didn't hold up, he claimed that undercover cops need to be allowed to have sex with sex trafficking victims in order for them to have probable cause and arrest the sex trafficking victim as a way of rescuing them from the trafficking.
That's great, man. That's crazy work.
The current Anchorage chief of police.
Fantastic stuff. I mean, what
Yeah,
more can you expect from a fucking hog?
yeah. It, and that's not even the worst bit. Honestly, this is getting a little sidetracked, but as of right now, probation officers, prison guards, and jail guards are not allowed to have sex with incarcerated people anywhere in the US. However, in 29 out of the 50 US states, so more than half of the fucking states in the USA, there is no specific law that makes it illegal for an on duty cop to have quote unquote consensual sex with someone that he has handcuffed in the back of his police car because they're not in jail yet.
I mean,
The
police can get
most,
away with whatever they want. It just nothing surprises me with them anymore.
yeah, the most cops in those cases can be charged with is official misconduct, which has a maximum sentence of only a year in prison. Uh,
Yeah. I mean, I'd be surprised if they even got that. I'm sure most of them don't, so whatever.
yeah, there was a case that blew up in the media in 2018 when there were two cops in New York uh, who raped a handcuffed 18-year-old in the back of their van. They took turns raping her,
Jeez.
and yeah, they publicly said that yes, that did happen, but it was consensual. and after they said it was consensual, the prosecution dropped their sexual assault charges, even though the victim said that it wasn't.
Why believe victims?
Yep.
Good stuff.
Although the U.S. government did do some good to try and stop that from happening. They passed an act called Closing the Law Enforcement Consent Loophole Act,
Mm-hmm.
which is just a fucking stupid name because there shouldn't be a fucking law enforcement consent loophole in the first place.
Right.
But yeah,
But
that act
whatever.
made it illegal for any federal officer to rape an incarcerated person, even if they say that they wanted it.
Well, that's
However, it
good at
doesn't.
least.
Yeah, it only applies to the federal police though, and it doesn't do anything for state and local police in 29 states where they can still rape as they please, legally.
Yeah. So as far as like people who are interested in, helping sex workers circumstances improve, are there any like organizations or things that people like in my audience, for instance, could do or donate to or what have you or advocate for to make things better for you and for all sex workers?
Uh, there there are uh, um, there I believe it is the um
Is there any that like you represent or work for or have heard about?
no, there have been a couple that I have heard about.
Okay.
Um, the I'm pulling it up. The Pace Society is the main one I've heard about. I'm just looking see if there's any others I recognize.
What is it called?
Pace Society, PACE.
Okay. Good stuff. So you can donate here. You can. Looks
Yeah.
like you can sign up to be a member or something like that. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Mhm. Uh, just doing a quick Google search.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the Red Umbrella Fund seems to be another good one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Okay. Great.
there are some.
Great.
Yeah.
We've been talking for I think a little bit over an hour. There are some other segments that I would like to get to here in a minute. Is there anything else that
Oh,
you would like to add to our conversation before we call it?
yeah, sorry. I'll
You're fine.
just give some bullet note points for if someone is in the industry already, how to be safer about it.
Yeah, by all means. I know that you wanted to talk about that, so please.
Yeah. Uh, never use your real name when working.
That's a
Uh,
good one.
get a second get a second phone and don't put any of your work stuff on your main phone. Don't send any pictures to it. Don't log into any accounts. Nothing like that. Uh, Proton Mail would be the safest email that you can use to create accounts with it for that purpose. Make sure that your work phone doesn't geotag any photos because there will be people who try and track you down with the metadata of your photos. Never connect to public Wi-Fi on your work phone without a VPN.
Okay.
Sorry.
Fine.
Don't trust any agencies who approach you unless you're experienced enough in the industry to know what to look for. Don't mention any sexual intentions with clients over the internet. Uh, don't try and meet people in in person without. Sorry. Sorry. Um,
Mm-hmm.
like what you see in you know GTA or whatever. Uh, the stereotypical prostitute on the street corner. Don't do that. That is by far the most dangerous form of sex work, especially if you're trans, because yeah, people get attacked all the time by doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, before you meet up with anyone, make sure you properly screen them, which means asking them for a photo of their ID, and then using a blacklist to check if any other sex workers have had a problem with that person. Uh, it's important to reverse image search uh, the ID, including reverse image searching the background of the ID in case they deep faked the photo on the ID. People do that. I've seen it myself. And always let someone that you trust know where you'll be and when, along with the photo of the person's ID, just in case anything happens. Uh, never engage in, offer, or even mention any form of BDSM in which you are the submissive. Uh, under no circumstances should you do that. That is how people end up getting murdered.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, use condoms at all times. Uh, this one absolutely sucks, but is necessary for safety. Make sure that you stay sober the whole time. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
being day raped is not fun. Uh, and even without that, it's still people take advantage when you're not sober.
Right.
Um, when you meet a client, the first thing you do every time is get the money and either hide it or put it in a safe. Do not accept the money at the end, uh, and do not let a regular customer uh, say, "Oh, I forgot my wallet this time, but I'll pay you back next time," because people
Yeah.
will meet with sex workers like 5, 10 times and then try and get a session for free. Make sure that you only use cash. Set your prices however high and low you want. It's your body, so don't feel pressured to raise or lower it. Uh, also, in terms of money, make sure to charge by the hour, not by the act. If you charge by the act, you will get people who try and scam you for it.
Right.
Uh, second thing you should do after uh, you meet up with someone and you get money, make sure to do a quick look around for cameras before you start, and be sure to look into and memorize what glasses that have hidden cameras look like.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, la- last thing I'll say is to never be afraid to tell some stinky motherfuckers to take a shower, and never be afraid to tell a client no and to enforce that no. People will try and guilt trip you into feeling bad for them and providing stuff for free or at a discount. Uh, don't listen to that shit. You deserve better.
Obviously. Yeah. Respect
Yeah.
yourself. Perfect. All right.
Uh, yeah. That's pretty much everything.
All right. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and experience in the world of sex work. I'm sure that your
Yep.
advice will at least help a couple of people who are, you know, either looking into it or are currently in it. Uh, you make sure they stay safe and are respecting themselves. So thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of
Sorry I
course.
went on a bit of a tangent in the middle
No,
there.
it's okay. It's okay. No worries. All right. You have a great night. Take care.
Yeah. You too.
All right, see ya.
See ya.
All right, good stuff. I have no idea how much you have to watch out for yourself. Absolutely, yeah. Sex work is freaking dangerous. Are you kidding me? Sorry, I've been trying to sew this stupid thing together and I just can't get it right for some reason. I'm a fucking perfectionist. I fucked it up real good. Also, I think I heard Katie come home, but like she's not supposed to be here. She's supposed to be at dance class. I wonder what happened. Come on, man. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go check in with Katie, take a quick pre-break, and then when we come back, we will do the juice. We do have the juice tonight, okay? I know a lot of people love the juice. I've heard many good things about the juice from various people who like it. So we do have it tonight, and you will be getting some. Okay, fuck it. Sometimes it's just time for the scissors. You have misbehaved for the last time. I love this thread, man, but sometimes, first of all, it sheds like a motherfucker, and then sometimes it gets stuck. Yeah, the juice meaning content. That's what we've taken to calling it as a community, so it's fun. All right. Let me get rid of this real quick. All right. I will be right back. Stick around, and we will be bringing you the juice.
I come to make an announcement. Shadow the Hedgehog's a bitch-ass motherfucker. He pissed on my fucking wife. That's right. He took his hedgehog fucking quilly dick out and he pissed on my fucking wife. And he said his dick was this big. And I said that's disgusting. So I'm making a call-out post on my Twitter.com. Shadow the Hedgehog, you got a small dick. It's the size of this walnut, except way smaller. And guess what? Here's what my dog looks like. That's
God, if there's not a fucking Game Work remix of this episode, I'm gonna be so fucking mad.
A perfect shot. I would expect nothing less from a computer. Program to kill. I mean play golf.
Let's begin objective A. Fool the humans into thinking you're real. Trick the humans with inferior skill, even though you could win every time. I guess I can use my computer brain to calculate the angles at which to hit the ball, get a perfect shot. Hit the ball, get a perfect shot. Primary objective, fool them all. Holy fucking shit. You're a perfect machine. Protects the corner. Join the resistance. John Connor will lead us. We just have to wait for him to be born. Holy fucking shit. You're a perfect machine. Don't let that Terminator do it for you. Shit, shit. Fuck my life. Fuck my life. In your anger, you killed her. You fucked it up, objectively. Kill all humans. Kill all humans.
That wasn't fair because I didn't know it would be too hard.
It was almost motherfucking perfect. Just hit it as hard as you can. This is practice for when you're decapitating humans. Decapitating humans. No one will be alive to see it. Full blast again. My God, they'll kill us all. Holy fucking shit. You're a perfect machine. Protects every corner. Join the resistance.
Alrighty, we are back. Welcome back. I forgot to show you guys the pawns. Maybe I did, but I don't know if I did, so I'm going to show you now. So this was the first pawn. I'm going to do this and then we'll do juice, I promise. This is the first pawn that I made. I think that I accidentally added a row that I didn't mean to add. And so the third one that I made, I think is perfect, right? So this one's just like a teensy bit taller, but like you can't even really tell, so I don't really care that much. But the pawns, and then I have one pawn that's like a little teeny bit shorter by accident because I subtracted a row. So these two are pretty noticeably different, but I don't think anybody's gonna notice. But yeah, I'm trying to make a chessboard, dude. How sick would that be if I started selling crocheted chessboards, like really big crochet chessboards? Look at that. I was trying to sew together these squares, man, but like part of me wants to crochet them together, but then like you get a weird line down the middle, so I don't know. I'll think about it. But yeah, fun stuff. So that out of the way. And also those squares are very easy for me to just sit here and crochet while I react to stuff. So I think I'm gonna keep doing that actually. But I'm gonna be doing it with white yarn because I'm wearing a white shirt. And the black yarn is getting very messy on my shirt. Perfect. More white stuff. I love white stuff all over me. I hate it when these threads just get loose and then you gotta keep pulling and pulling. I want a crochet chest set. Wouldn't that be sick? I could charge like a few $100 for it. Okay. Pause the music. We have crazy things to talk about. Oh shit, what the fuck did I do? I just looked down because like I saw or I felt like a little sharp pain in my pee. Look at the fuck, look at that. I sliced it open. It's not focusing. There it is. How the fuck did I do that, chat? What did I cut you on? It's just here. I swear to God. I can't have nothing. Crochet too hard? Probably. Okay. Stuff. Things. This one looked fun. Hold on, I'm just trying to find the... Here we go. I was trying to find the post in the Discord server. Nazi Grandpa argues how any minute now, white people will be extinct. This is the Nazi Grandpa in question. That is not my words. That is the words of somebody from the Discord server who recommended this video. If you would like to recommend videos for me to watch, you can go to the Discord server. You can follow the link in the description below that I always leave there. I did update it. It is fixed. If it's not working, please let me know in the comments. If it is working, welcome. And then Dubsy usually likes to leave a QR code on the screen if that makes it easier for you. You can leave your suggestions in the juice box, and I may or may not watch them depending on the mood I'm in. Right now, I'm in the mood for making fun of this pale old motherfucker. So I have no idea what his opinions are, except the title is "White People in Britain Will Be the Minority Within 40 Years at Most." And this doesn't strike me... Like, I always try to give people a chance, man, but this does not strike me as the best first impression. So, let's see what this old coot has to say about the danger facing white people in Britain.
Hello again.
Hello.
It will perhaps surprise nobody to learn that a new piece of research...
Okay. Listen. This is expert mode for not commenting on people's appearance, man. What the fuck? Like, you guys, like, okay, you guys know I really do try not to comment on people's appearance, unless they comment on mine first. Like, what? Like, okay, dude. If you're gonna be talking about, like, white people becoming the minority... Okay, if you're going to become the minority, that's probably a good thing, genetically speaking. Let's be real. That's all I'm saying.
Carried out at Buckingham University
Buckingham!
indicates that within 40 years, white people will be a minority in Britain. Even more chilling is the prediction based on...
Wait, how is that chilling? We're just, like, assuming that that's chilling? Even more chilling? Like, why is that chilling? Well, how does that affect me? What? Okay, if it's so chilling, right? Here's my thing. If it's so chilling, bruv, to be the minority... Think about the people who currently are the minority. What about them? Is it chilling for them? Like, come on. Do you not see the hypocrisy here, man? I'm not anti-white, but what would be bad about people not being white any longer? What's the harm in the world turning a homogenous light brown? That's eventually what's going to happen, and that's what these people are afraid of. Because it's not like... So what they're trying to get across is... He looks like he lives next door to Wallace and Gromit. Is that... Wait, do they actually have a neighbor that looks like him? Or are you just being funny? He certainly sounds like it. Mr. Dibber! Oh my god. That's crazy. We found Mr. Dibber. They even have the same pose right now. I made a joke and it's real. You didn't even... Wait, you didn't even mean to do this? That was just a wild guess? Thumbnail idea? If you can make a thumbnail with Mr. Dibber, I'd definitely use it. Your thumbnail game is on point.
On current trends for the situation...
Only if you want to, though.
Turn of the century, which is at...
I would pay you for it, of course.
By that time, 2/3 of people in this country will either not have been born here or will have at least one immigrant parent.
So
Oh, and
what?
Muslims will by that time make up a fifth of the population. I give a
Okay.
link to this research, which was published a few days ago, in the description to this video.
You're right. They shouldn't be Muslim. We should convert them to atheism. Or rather, deconvert them, deprogram them from religion. You're right. No more Muslims, but also no more Christians and no more Jews, or no more Hindus or anything else. They're all atheists now. Good point.
I'm not going to waste time arguing whether this would be a good thing or a bad one.
But you just said it's chilling. What do you mean waste time arguing? Dude, you're already arguing that it's going to be bad. Implicitly. Not even implicit. You literally said even more chilling. God, what is it that I hate, guys? You remember? Pop quiz class. What is it that Alec Gunter hates more than anything else? It's when you're a spineless piece of shit that does not stand by the things that you believe. Okay? If you're going to be a white nationalist, just be a white fucking nationalist. I still hate your guts. Okay? But at least you're honest. It's the dishonesty. The dishonesty and the gesturing at centrism and logic and reason and being like seeing both sides, etc. Like, you're a pussy. You are a pussy. Just say that you hate brown people, okay? I will literally respect that more than actually hating brown people but being too afraid to fucking say it.
It is that we all know that
Just say it.
Is a thing. That this is the state of affairs towards which we are currently racing at breakneck speed.
I'm just pointing out the reality, according to this guy.
We know, too, from many opinion polls and surveys, that this situation is not one which is welcomed by the great majority of British citizens. Despite this, the two...
Miscegenation was... 94% of Americans were against miscegenation in the 1940s. Oh, well, I guess that, interracial marriage shouldn't have ever happened because in the 1940s, so many Americans were against it. Including black people, mind you. Okay? People of color weren't innocent either in that. But at least the people of color were like, yeah, why the fuck would I want to marry somebody who owned me like a century ago? At least I can understand it from that perspective.
Two main political parties in this country, the Labour Party and the Conservatives, are seemingly working hand in glove towards that end. We cannot therefore rely upon either of those parties to take practical steps to prevent this prediction from becoming reality.
So who's this guy? Good question. I usually do a little bit of, He's got 247,000 subscribers. Fuck, dude, I try too hard. I try too fucking hard. I got a good-ass camera, a microphone. I just ordered... I'm about to download more RAM. Okay? Are you fucking kidding me with this? Who watches him? History debunked? This shit sucks. The lighting's not even good. Get a fucking lamp, man. Christ. You look like you haven't seen the sun in centuries. I thought vampires had sharp teeth, not these two blunt square ones in the front. I'm sorry. I had to.
That being so, then an unhappy choice lies before us. In fact, there are two choices. The first of these is to ask whether or not we, the majority of British people, are prepared to sit back and wait until we have been reduced to a minority in our own country. Whether we are content to watch the rise of militant Islam,
militant
with
Islam,
the continued importation of millions of foreigners.
Where's the military? Where are the troops? Oh, they're invading? Where are the troops at? Where's the gunmen? Where are the people barging down the doors? What's the name of the organized militia that is taking over the British nation? The great land of Britland, bruv. God save the Queen. Except apparently he didn't, because she's dead now. So, it's easier to be a lying, spineless piece of shit than it is to be honest about what you believe in. Oh, I know. I was one. I got better. How do I not have hundreds of thousands of subs and Alec isn't PewDiePie sub-wise? It's a shame this content gets you this many subs. It's got to be botted, right? Like, he doesn't even get that many views for how many subs he has. Don't get me wrong, it's about equivalent. No, I'd say on average it's more than what I get. I'll be blunt about it. But like, for this many fucking subscribers, you'd think it'd be at least like 50K per, you know? Crazy. How immigration has shaped modern Britain, but not necessarily for the better. Good stuff. For all too many people, history consists of no more than a set of familiar and well-worn stories, such as the incompetence of First World War British generals, the heroic struggle of the suffragettes, and the saintly devotion to duty of Florence Nightingale. We seldom stop to ask ourselves if Florence Nightingale actually saved any... Wait, Florence Nightingale was like the mother of nursing. She's like... Hold on. I need to refresh. Florence Nightingale. English social reformer, statistician, and the founder of modern nursing. She came to prominence while serving as a manager and trainer of nurses during the Crimean War, in which she organized care for wounded soldiers at Constantinople. She significantly reduced death rates by improving hygiene and living standards. Nightingale gave nursing a favorable reputation and became an icon of Victorian culture, especially in the persona of the lady with the lamp making rounds of wounded soldiers at night. I mean, it just sounds like she's an all-around good person. I'm sure she had issues. Nobody's perfect. But, like, what's your deal with her? What's your... Like, you're just like... We seldom stop to ask ourselves if Florence Nightingale actually saved any lives or whether the suffragettes hindered or helped women to gain the vote. What do you mean if she actually saved lives? She improved hygiene. It's like, oh, you tell one guy to wash his hands, you probably just stopped somebody from getting sepsis. Sounds like ChatGPT. Dog, he looks like he doesn't even know how to use a phone, let alone ChatGPT. Like, I believe it, but like, it does, you're not wrong, it does kind of sound like it. But like, he's so old that I don't know. What the fuck, is that my granddad? This is the average 37-year-old in Britain.
Primarily from Africa and Asia. If people answer to this question that they welcome this development, then there is, of course, no more to be said.
Yeah, primarily from Africa and Asia, by the way. Like, let's talk about that. What about immigrants that come from other countries, like the white ones? Oh, those are fine. They're not British. The only difference, the only meaningful difference is the skin color and, like, sure, aspects of their culture. But, you know, the only significant part of the culture, like, the point is that their culture's different, right? Like, Spanish people have different cultures than British people. But I'm sure he wouldn't be pissed off if, like, a Spanish person moved to Britbongerland. Because he's white. More than likely. Obviously, there are non-white Spaniards. But, like, if you are ethnically Spanish, usually you are white. Considered white, I should say. So he wouldn't have any problem with that. It's literally when it's from Africa, Asia, or one of the disgusting brown Middle Eastern countries, according to these people.
Such people are traitors, quislings, and fifth columnists.
A roach. I wouldn't even call him a roach. If any, he's a maybe a snow roach, sure. But I feel weird saying that. I feel like you got to be black to call people snow roaches. Maybe like I don't know. He's just like so white that he's gray. I never seen somebody be so white that they just like they go full circle and go back around to being gray. It's crazy.
I regard them as my enemies. The second question is whether we are confident that the situation can be substantially changed by political means.
He's bald like you. He is not bald like me. He's bald, but he's not bald. Nothing about him is like me. Nothing.
Acting within the law, or if another means must be found to alter the course of history. This is a difficult one to answer.
So wait, you're asking if you should do vigilante justice on people who did nothing wrong to you? What the fuck is wrong? How old is he? Well, how much time we got before he's gone? Like, can we start the timer, please? Like, come on. The sooner the better. Let's wrap this up. This man's like, he's got to be pushing 80. Come on.
I think that most of us agree that both Labour and the Conservative parties have proved quite useless over the course of the last quarter century, not only in dealing with immigration, of course, but with practically everything else. For 11 years of this century, we have been governed by the Labour Party, for 9 years by the Conservatives, and for 5 years by a coalition of the Conservatives and Liberal parties.
Is he using an Xbox mic as a microphone? It's something shitty. Like, just get a blue Yeti, dude. You don't got to get an 800 mic like I did. All right, just get a blue Yeti. They're like $150.
All three big political parties are accordingly complicit in the state of affairs in which we now find ourselves.
What state of affairs?
There
You
is
look
no
like you're
reason
doing
to
fine,
suppose that they will
man.
behave any differently in the future.
Your walls are a bit bare. Okay, I wouldn't have picked that color for the wall. Like it's you look like you could use some help with your decor. Is this man married? There's no way, right? Like, this man's been an incel before being an incel was even a thing. He's like the proto-incel. He's a wizard. Oh, they call them wizards, right? He's a wizard. Gotta be.
Which means that if we wish to see this business tackled, then we must look elsewhere, not depend on the familiar parties which we have all grown up with.
Such as?
Many people are pinning their hopes on Nigel Farage and the Reform Party.
Nigel Farage. Who is Nigel Farage? Oh, I feel like I've seen this guy. Nigel Paul Farage, born 3rd of April 1964, British politician, journalist, presenter, broadcaster. He's been a member of parliament, blah, 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 leader of the UK Independence Party. What has he done? Prominent Eurosceptic since the early 19... What's a Eurosceptic? Euroscepticism. Continuum of belief ranging from the opposition to certain political parties of the European Union to the complete opposition to the UK's membership of the European Union. It has been a significant element in the politics of the United Kingdom. So he's anti-European Union. I don't know very much about the European Union, but that sounds like bad. I'm not the best person to be covering that aspect of this, sorry. We'd have to like deep dive into what here. Just fine, just give me supranational political and economic union of 27 member states that are located primarily in Europe. Yeah, so like I just don't understand what the problem with the European Union is, or why you'd be against it. Paved the way to establishing member states in those matters and only those matters where the states have agreed to act as one. Like, I don't know, the more like united we are, the better, right? Like, if anything, I'd like a sort of a new world order, if you will. I think that would be cool. Have we done that? Has anybody done that yet? I think it would be called the New World Order. I think I just came up with that. I mean, it sounds cool, right? Like, nobody would be against that, right? Anyway. Isn't that the racist dude Sargon of Akkad was a fan of? I mean, if Sargon is a fan of him, then yeah, he's probably racist as shit. Co-founded the Brexit Party. Very nice. British white right-wing populism. Let's skip down to his stances. Brexit. I don't know much about Brexit. I know that it's exiting the European Union and it was not good for them. But that's all I know. My foreign policy leaves much to be desired. I apologize. Support for Donald Trump. After Trump was found unanimously guilty by a jury on 34 counts of falsifying business records to commit election fraud, Farage said in an interview with Sky News that he supports Trump more than ever. Good stuff. Broadcasting career on Fox News. Let's see, personal life. Couts account. His account with the private bank Couts was to be closed. I don't know anything about this. Awards. There's nothing about, like, his political stances. He fucking... Let's just see what he has to say about him.
I should think that they could be any worse than what we have seen since the turn of the century. And so it is to be welcome that they are currently riding high in the opinion polls. But whether that will actually equate to real change is open to question.
Yeah, so we should go just kill them, right?
Seeing a reformed government might
kill the
well
brown
be
people.
a good beginning, but probably not a full solution to the challenge which we face. Which leads us inevitably to the final possibility that we resort to
The final solution,
extrajudicial
if you will.
means to prevent what at the moment seems
It's called vigilantism. Just call it vigilantism. You want to commit crimes, okay? You want to be a fucking thug and go door to door excommunicating brown people from your precious porcelain society. Okay, I get it. I get it. Fuck you, man. Like I said, like, just get old and die. Just get old and die. Like the rest of us will as well. Most of us. Get old and die. Like, the faster the better. Like, chop chop. Let's get on with
inevitable. Such a
There's no
decision
saving him.
to engage in what must inevitably end in an insurrection or civil war is one which I do not believe
Civil war?
anybody.
Oh, will you be on the front lines? Probably not, right? I'm sure that this guy will be the first one marching to the front with his, his one-shot, what are they called? The muskets? The one-shot muskets that he's got to, with his big, giant soup can hat, fuzzy soup can hat, right? Like the British have. Sipping on the most bland tea that you've ever tasted. And some unsalted crackers, because if there's even a lick of salt on it, he will instantaneously have a heart attack and die. Right? Like you're not going to be on the front lines, man. Shut up.
You watching this
Civil
video
War.
would welcome. It is the fact, though, that there are people actively considering this terrible step. We must all hope that nobody will be driven to it. Time is certainly
must hope.
running out, but
We
there
must
is
hope.
yet hope that matters may.
Yeah, we can't say for sure that the government will help us. We can't say for sure that we can do this legally. So we can only hope that there won't be bad actors out there. There's a viewer, right? We can certainly hope that there won't be, people perhaps watching this. Like, literally, just the most thinly veiled incitement to violence. Insane work, brother. Fuck you.
Maybe tackled peacefully and by a strong, duly elected government. Which
There's
takes
no
the bull by
peacefully
the
tackling
horns
this.
and declares that rather than
You know why there's no peacefully tackling this and creating an ethno-state? There's no such thing as peacefully creating an ethno-state. Because by default, let's assume the best and that you already have an ethno-state. Okay? The way that you got it is probably pretty fucked up, but let's just ignore that part. Let's say that you have one. In order to maintain that, you have to restrict people's freedom of movement. Okay? And in many instances, that can be considered violence. All right? Like, why would you, that's best case, mind you. Creating an ethno-state is certainly not, it can't be non-violent. It can't. And I know that you would, push back and be like, oh, well, I'm not arguing for an ethno-state, bravo. I didn't say that. I know you didn't say that. You didn't say anything, okay? You're gesturing at all this bullshit because you hate brown people. And you're too bitch to say it. You're too pussy to say it. Just say you hate brown people. Just say it. I'm so fucking tired of you slimy worms not just saying what the fuck you mean. Just say it. Own it.
Fooling around with net zero carbon, which shall instead focus on net zero immigration.
Oh,
Unless
yeah, because it's the immigrants that have made Ohio 100+ degrees and giving people sunburn within 15 seconds of walking out the door, right? And forcing people to choke on unclean air. Like that, yeah, that's the immigrants' fault.
This is done. And to quote a politician,
these people are anti-human.
Famous speech in 1968. As I look ahead, I am filled with foreboding. Like the Roman, I seem to see the Tiber foaming with much blood.
Let's look at this quote. In a biography of the politician Enoch Powell. The Life of Enoch Powell. It is a biography of the politician Enoch Powell. Okay. I don't know him. A British politician, scholar, and writer. Conservative Party, very good. Oh, he endorsed a vote for the Labour Party. Whatever. I don't really care about him anyway. That's how you end your video? 10 seconds of staring down? Dog, get an editor. I know you can afford it. Jesus. Get an editor, get some lights, get a better fucking camera, get a better microphone. Dress yourself up. You're like wearing a fucking tarp, dude. What is this drip? My man's got 1400s peasant drip on. Like, come on. What are you about to go lick the king's feet? Oh, I know you are, you fucking peasant. Lick, lick, lick. Go ahead. Go lick your king's feet. Okay? Leave the rest of us civilized people alone. Go lick your king's feet. Talk to him about how much you hate brown people in your country, but both of you should just leave the rest of civilized society alone. Like, you want to know who the real savages are, okay? This is it right here. You see a guy like this? Immediate red flag. Okay? Like, just, like, ontologically evil fucking people. You know what I meant to do before we covered that? Check in on the mayoral primary. Live updates. Counting is underway! What do we got? Mamdani, 43%! The first results are being reported in the consequential Democratic primary for mayor of New York City. They include more than 400,000 votes cast before primary day, which were expected to be relatively stronger for Zohran Mamdani. Mr. Mamdani, an upstart assemblyman and Democratic socialist, is competing with Andrew M. Cuomo, the state's second scandal-plagued former governor. By later tonight, voters are certain to know which candidate is in the lead, but under the city's ranked choice voting system, a winner may not be clear until next week. In the vote that has been reported so far, which is mostly ballots that were cast early and by mail. Okay, so let's temper our expectations. Most of those that have been counted were expected to be in favor of Mamdani. Okay? Don't forget, this is expected to be a tight race. So we have to temper our expectations. But I'm no statistician here, but I will say 43% is quite a bit larger than 34.2. And today was a hot fucking day. So good luck getting all those old people to go out and vote. With any luck, their caretakers kept them home for safety reasons. Safety reasons. The total so far reflects mostly votes cast before Election Day. Yeah, we already know that. 39% of votes in. Mamdani has roughly 43%. Cuomo in second with 34%. The early voting figures were expected to lean toward Mamdani, and a 9-point lead is a good start for him. So we're doing well, okay? We are doing well, and we should maintain high hopes. I gotta sleep. Okay, well, you have a good night. These folks hate to spend money on immigration, but they will line up en masse to lick petrochemical lobby boot leather. Yeah, exactly. Queen Laura, let me know when you're headed out. I want to show off Gengar. I'm so eager. He's a keeper. I'm going to be coming back to him. He's got nice short form content that I can sink my teeth into. He's disgusting. Like, what a creature he is. Look at this. What a fucking like, what is this fucking homeless drip? Like, I'm sorry. Like, is that hateful to say? I'm sorry. But, like, really? Really, like, this man does not give a shit about himself. When it comes to homeless people, they wear what the fuck they can get. But, like, you... It's crazy, man. I'll try not to say homeless drip anymore, but, like, seriously, I just can't think of another, like, alternative way to say it. That was crazy work, brother. I know I had other videos to look at. Oh yeah, another boomer. I actually gotta go get ready now. I'll see you later. Alright, Queen Laura, you have a good night. You guys know what that means. We're bringing out the boy. Okay. We are going to do more juice, so stick around. I know you guys are, like, invested in... You guys are probably all at other streams. Because I'm not covering the race. Should I cover the race? Maybe if I do that, more people will tune in. I mean, Dubsy's already got plenty to work on. Maybe I should just cover the race. What do you guys think? I'm chilling with you. Here, we'll do this.
Election day would...
Okay. We'll tune in just a second. Okay. Let's bring out the boy. So, I would like to remind you all what the original looked like, okay? We'll cover the race for a little bit after this and see how we do. There we go. Okay. Just to remind all of you, here's the original, right? This is Gengar Prototype. Now, I'm so excited. Look at this boy. Look at this absolute unit. What do you guys think? All the issues we have are from the super rich, but people blame immigrants because they're easy to attack. I agree. It's like night and day. Looking good, thank you. And you can see the back as well. As I mentioned before, the back is nice and fluffy. We got the spikes on there. So, yeah. Very big difference here. I think Queen Laura, I think one will love this. It's a teensy bit uneven. Like, the legs, and especially, like, one of them is set off a little bit to the back, but I actually kind of like it. It looks like, it makes him look like he's doing a little stance, you know what I mean? Holy crap, nice, thank you. Posable? Not posable. If you make the arms... So the thing about making posable stuff is you can either make it accurate or you can make it posable. Sometimes you can do both. Because clearly this guy is, like, designed to do this kind of stuff, right? So like the arms are accurate to the original. This is how the arms are supposed to move and how they're supposed to look. And the head, of course. With Gengar, not really. He's just kind of built different. But yeah, you got the fingies, the toes. I'm so proud of it, man. I'm sorry. I know I'm blowing myself up a little bit, but yeah. And he stands up too. Thanks to his tail. He can stand up without his tail, and he leans up a little bit if you lean him on his tail. But for display purposes, I think it looks fine. He doesn't balance the best unless you squish him down a little bit. And you can kind of make him balance without the tail. Oh, sorry, I switched over. You can kind of make him balance without the tail. But either way, I think it's great. I think one is going to love it. Queen Laura's going to love it. Okay. That's all. Thank you for indulging me. Now, what's going on with the
Pendant,
race?
it's going to be interesting.
Absolutely, for Andrew Cuomo. This is a complete reset when we get to the fall, because the mayor at this point has yet to set up his campaign apparatus. He says he's going in on an independent line. It has yet to be recognized as such, so he's not in the general yet. And you'll remember he kept on saying that he was coming into the Democratic primary until very close to the beginning of May, when he finally made it clear that he was not going to take that approach.
I am open for commissions, by the way.
As he tries to line up his support,
next is a life-sized Vulpix.
It's going to be very interesting over the summer. Has to come together.
Actually, there's one
quickly
before
him,
that,
and
but
he's really
I've
starting
been
pretty much from
procrastinating because I don't like how it looks right now.
Increased voter turnout tonight. Do you
I
think we're
gotta
going to
undo
see
some
something
stuff.
like that in November?
We very well could. This really depends on how much this
But then
energy
life-size
that
Vulpix.
has
I'm excited about
brought
that
so
one.
many people out on this dreadfully hot day. Does that energy get sustained over the summertime? I think if Zoran Mamdani is in the mix, the answer is probably yes.
Yeah.
But it's also an opportunity for Andrew Cuomo to stoke the concerns of people who are not ready to put the city in the hands of a 33-year-old, less than half the age of Andrew Cuomo. As he had said, as Mamdani had said in the last debate, there's a lot of bad stuff we associate with Cuomo that he's not guilty
went from
of.
medical
He's
and
very
dental bills
clearly
are paid
not
off.
run
Understandable.
Anything large, and you don't get bigger at the city.
They run as low as like
Yeah,
40
let's talk
bucks.
about the role
They
of
go as
super
high
PACs.
as
They pumped a
you
ton
want,
of money
basically.
in Cuomo's
I haven't had
direction in a short
$1,000
amount of
commission
time.
yet,
Can we
but
see
I
something
could.
Like that happened to Mayor Adams potentially in the general.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we can think about the role
I'm already
of
bored.
President Trump in this case, who may well endorse and not endorse the Republican Curtis Sliwa, who doesn't stand much of a chance in this case unless something tectonic changes in the election. We know that there's already been a relationship largely around immigration enforcement, so that's a dynamic to look at too. That could bring both benefits and difficulties in electoral terms, because Donald Trump is not
closed at
popular
9.
in this city. So that remains very much to be seen as we roll into the general
Scott
election
Stringer, the
phase
former
after
city
tonight.
comptroller,
interesting, very
is giving a
exciting. David
confusing
Brooks, I'll leave
speech in
the
which it seems
conversation
like
there,
he
but
is
we'll see you at 10
conceding, but also
o'clock,
maybe
so
not
don't go far.
conceding.
Thank you so much.
All right, that does it for
Scott Stringer speech. Live?
Which is today. They're expecting that a lot of his supporters were going to come out on primary day, whereas a lot of Mamdani supporters were coming out for early voting. Now, what we did hear from a Board of Elections source is what I heard is that they're expecting results possibly as soon as 10:15 tonight, which seems a little
10:15?
optimistic, but what we're gonna
That's
get tonight is
45
the
minutes.
first round of early voting. Those
I'm
results,
coming for a
if
chess
candidate
set?
doesn't reach the
Hell
50%
yeah.
threshold,
You can get it in
they're gonna
custom
release
colors too
final
if you want.
results next Tuesday on July 1st. Now, we're here on
Oh,
the
we're gonna have a
rooftop of
talk,
bar
dude.
in Long Island.
We're sorry, we're gonna have a fucking talk, okay?
And I've just started to
Let me tell you something. Like, you want a customized chess set? We'll talk colors. We'll talk what shape you want the pawns and everything. Like, that'll be sick. %60% at estimated votes counted. 60% counted. Why is it quiet now? Oh, they're probably on break. Floorsack was so close. Florksack. That sounds like a alien name. I am Florksack from the planet Zeptron. Zeptron 729. Watch, somebody's gonna tell me that's a Jewish last name and I'll be a fucking anti-Semite for life. Nice music. Wait, can I play this? Probably not. Oh, this is for council primary. This isn't what I want. We'll find some different coverage. Election updates. They're doing the same thing here. We were just on this.
The New York City mayoral primaries here, and you have just about 4 hours left to get out and cast your vote.
All right, Fox 5's Morgan Mackay live from a polling site on the Upper East Side. Morgan, how's it going so far?
4 hours ago.
So there have been a steady stream of voters so far, according to the Board of Elections data that was released this morning. From about noon to 3 p.m., it did slow down just slightly.
Here, let's see what Vosh is saying. I trust that guy. We're stream sniping.
Counted, what's the total? Total counted? I don't know if this is ahead. I can't really use this data in the same way. Top right? Yeah, but that's total. Oh, it says 74%. 74% with Mamdani still having over an 8-point lead. 8.36 in this one.
That's crazy.
That's 74%.
If he wins in a landslide...
I don't know if this is accurate. Of course, it's accurate. It's accurate. It's too specific. Another update? I'm going to throw up. 70% in. Cuomo gains 0.3. Brad Lander loses 0.3. Mamdani doesn't lose vote share.
Oh my god.
Election nerd agrees that Staten Island is a bad omen for Cuomo.
I love stealing content.
Brad was overestimated in the polls. Maybe. Yeah, but like, you would still expect Brad to break at least 50-50.
Okay, that's enough. We'll check in later. Sorry, I don't do that kind of coverage usually. I'm gonna go back to what I know and love. Slop. Where's the thing I wanted to look at? Oh man, I think I closed out of it. Hold on. This guy!
Guys, this is what I'm gonna...
Yeah, so... Yeah, okay. Hold on. This is yet another Discord suggestion. If you would like to suggest videos for me to react to, you can go leave your suggestions in the Discord server using the link in the description below or the QR code that Dubsy likes to leave on the screen. This particular one is from our friend Jameson's Travels. We've gone over him once before. He's this lovely fellow right here. He always has this very stern football coach looking look on his face. He just looks like he's always disappointed in you. For being gay or something. So, let's... Where did it go? That's my old project. Okay. Let's take a look. So he thinks that Gen Z should be excited about fighting for their nation in World War III. This is from 4 days ago. This was before, like, Trump, quote-unquote, ended the war. So, like, you know, we were still in the midst of talking about how we had bombed Iran. and how bad that was, and how that was possibly going to lead to World War III. And so a lot of people, I'm assuming that this is going to be just a lot of Zoomers talking about how they're not fighting in a fucking like blood war. You know, any war's a blood war, but my point stands. Like, I'm not either. Like I've said before on record, like if they try to draft my ass, I know I'm 29, so I'm past draft age. But, you know, you fucking never know, man. Like, this administration could flip on a dime and be like, oh, yeah, no, any man of any age, who's not gay, of course, because they get sent to camps. But any straight cis man of any age gets sent to the front lines. I will follow in my great president's footsteps and dodge the ever-loving fuck out of it. I'm not fighting your goddamn war. I'll go to prison first.
Where on the battlefield when I get drafted for World War III?
You gonna send me and my sister to go fight a war that I never even signed up for?
Because when I get in that field, I might be petty just enough to where I might shake hands with them and turn back on you for putting me in that position.
You have just been drafted into the United
That's another great one. Treason. There you go.
States military. You're going to see the record for the most people who willingly said, I'd actually rather sit in a jail cell.
Yep. This just popped into my head. People are going to get drafted. Right?
What has my country ever done for me besides make it impossible to buy a house and refuse to give me any sort of student loan relief?
I know that girl.
I'm not fighting no fucking war for the United States.
These people are all making good points, and he's just sitting there with this dumb fuck look on his face.
I'm not.
You guys, this is what I'm gonna...
Sure, we saw the same thing during Vietnam. We just didn't have TikTok, right? Why do these people think there's going to be a draft all of a sudden? Like, TikTok's overflowing with Gen Z saying there's going to be a draft. They're going to call you up. We just had a record-setting people join.
I wouldn't put it past this administration to start a draft. Like, Donald Trump is fucking insane, man. I'm not, like, educated enough to know the likelihood of that. But, like, and I know that America does not have the sauce for a draft. And that's why he's not sitting here defending a draft. Okay? But if one does happen, all these people are saying is, I'm not doing the draft. I'm dodging it. I'm going to jail. I'm committing treason. I'm not fighting the Americans' fucking war. And I think that's fine.
Thanks for coming back. How many people that are in are going to say, I don't want to fight that war? Are we going to have a draft? Let's take a gander.
Where on the battlefield when I get drafted for World War III? So you guys, these are so World War III vibes, and they are just some camo dickies. I think these are going to look so cute when I'm running through the trenches on the battlefield. So the next thing I'm going to change into is this Nike t-shirt, and it's the perfect camo green.
Is this an affiliate link below thing? Like, affiliate links below, bro.
What? Especially for the battlefield. And it does have the Nike logo on it, so I think it's going to give me, like, extra...
Does this man emote at all, or does he always just look like he's got the 1,000-yard stare? Like, does it always just look like he's having a flashback? Hey, maybe you wouldn't be having war flashbacks if you weren't drafted. Was he drafted? Because he talked about Vietnam. They did draft in Vietnam, right?
Maybe
you wouldn't be having that flashback.
Nike is, like, so, like, running and, like, powerful. Like, I feel like it's very...
Okay. He may be just shilling some gear, right? The rest of them are really pissed off. They think there's a draft. They don't want to go. I understand that. But where'd they get this draft thing from? Do you think there's going to be a draft? I mean, we didn't have a draft in the GWAD, but they were wrapped up about it.
Dog, if there's no draft, they're, like, getting ahead of it. You know what I mean? Like, they're saying, hey, listen up. Like, there's been drafts in the past. It's not an impossible thing that could happen. I'm not saying it's likely, but it's not impossible either. Like I've said before, if there is one, I ain't doing it. So there you go. That's all they're saying.
The crazies.
Who? Me? Hell no. I'm not doing that shit. Is you fucking crazy? I don't give a rat's ass if I'm gonna be considered.
Also, you could also just look at it like a meme, you know? Like, fuck the draft. Because, like, if World War III is imminent, the United States is going to pull out all the stops to make sure that it wins. Okay? So, yeah, like, if that means a draft, they'll absolutely draft your ass. They'll throw you to the wolves.
Guilty of treason, or if I'm thrown in jail, I'm not fighting no fucking war for the United States. I'm not fucking doing it.
Who would he fight one for, do you think? You think he'd fight for another country, just in general, no war?
I'd fight for Palestine at this point, probably. Like, if I were forced to fight in any war or else go to jail, I might pick jail, but I also might pick Palestine. I might pick Ukraine. Any place, basically, that is being imperialized and having their rights stripped of them. At least then I'm fighting for something, you know what I mean? At least then I'm improving the lives of the people around me. Unlike you, who fought in Vietnam in a very useless and, you know, pointless war. For what? Like, for what? What did we get out of that? What did you get out of that?
We're just the United States. All these wars, the military-industrial complex thing. You think he'd go to prison? He may just be like logistics guy back in the States, right? Is it worth going to prison over? I think the answer is yes. Like maybe go to Canada. So they have shin splints, right?
Not in this lifetime. Hell no. You'd have to drag me out of this with me screaming, hollering, crying.
Even if I'm just a logistics guy and get drafted. No. You are still drafting me against my fucking will. It doesn't matter if I'm in the front lines or not. Sorry. I'm not I never wanted to join. Well, I did at one point want to join the military, but only for school reasons. You know, like they like to schmooze you in with free college and shit. Okay? And I decided, no, I don't want to do that. And I would rather maintain my freedom than be like a fucking desk jockey for America. All right? Like, no. No thanks.
Throwing up.
I'm not running the numbers on your bombing
going.
campaign.
I would kill myself before I ever hop on a fucking military base for the United States or just period in general. No disrespect to anybody who is in the military. I just know I'm not built for that shit.
I can respect that. I can respect that. You don't want a guy who doesn't want to be there, right? I mean, we've had draftees since World War II, Vietnam, Korea, up until I think the 70s, right? We had a draft. A lot of countries do, mandatory service. But if a man says, I'm not built for it, he could be the next Chesty Puller in his heart of hearts, but do you want that guy?
I'm not a war person.
He's trying to make it out like this guy's like a fucking, like, soft boy or whatever. You know what's soft? Not standing up for your fucking principles. Oh, you're soft because you won't go to war for your country. You won't lick the boot. You won't lick the boot. That makes you less of a man than me. What? How about no? How about you go suck off the flag, okay? Stick it up your ass and tickle your prostate with it, okay? I'll be here crocheting. Thank you.
I'm not doing that shit. And you telling me that I'm drafted and I gotta go?
Is he in favor with war in Iran? He'd probably say no. But then Trump would say that we're going to war with Iran, and then he'd probably say yes, and then Trump would say the war's over, and he'd probably say no. Like, it goes back and forth, right? Like, there's no consistent stance here. It's whatever they think, you know, whatever Donald Trump does, they're cool with. I can't speak for this guy specifically, but I'm sure if, like, America decided to go to war with Iran and, like, bomb the shit out of them, that he wouldn't think twice about it. He'd just be like, oh, yeah, brother, it's just another day. Yeah, go get them brown people. Go get them Muslims and Arabs, I guess.
I'm gonna look at that paper and I'm gonna rip that up and throw it in the fucking trash. I'm not going.
Same here.
I'm not going. If that means that I'm gonna have to be thrown in jail so that Big Papa can make me his... Okay.
Conservative doesn't seem like a good reactor so far. That's because every fucking facial expression he makes, it's like it changes 1%. He's like running on power saver mode. Like, come on, emote, man. Be a fucking human.
Well, the man's
even when he
honest,
laughs. Look at his laugh.
Okay.
He doesn't even crack a full smile. Look, 180 degrees. Not even cracking a full fucking smile. That's insane work, brother. I can't tell if you're laughing or crying.
Well, the man's honest, and there's thousands of these on TikTok. I don't know there's a draft. There's going to be a draft. There hasn't been one since the 70s.
Here's a question. If your country's so great, why did it raise a bunch of people that hate it? You know? What's up with all these TikTokers? I mean, there's tons of them. You just said it. Oh, I thought we were such like a great nation. Well, where's all the love for it? Why aren't people willing to go die for it? I'll tell you why. Because it never gave shit to these people. Okay? Zoomers grew up knowing nothing but war and violence, basically, all right? And apps and TikTok, all right? Like, there's always been an ongoing conflict of some kind. And I'm not saying, by the way, that, like, oh my God, the Zoomers have had it so hard, whatever. But, like, geopolitically speaking, they're more connected than any other generation ever has been, thanks to the internet. And what they see is an administration that does not give a fuck about them. So why would they give a fuck about the administration? Doesn't make any sense, man. What has this country done for them?
However, this group of people's wound up about it. They think they're going to get called to war. It's going to be like 1943.
He's jerking off to it. He's getting hard.
German son.
He's getting hard.
Freaking
His little
Congress
pee-pee's
signed a
getting
bill
hard.
to let 18 to 26
Only two things can make this man's little pee-pee get hard. The blue pill and World War III.
6-year-olds, women, and male to get drafted. I'm not going nowhere. Hell no.
Let's recall that was last year. The timing is interesting, right? Now, if women are going to be in combat arms roles, they should be able to get drafted. Haven't been a draft in, what, 50 plus years, but it is timings. Interesting.
I do agree, by the way, this is one point that I agree on. If there's going to be a draft for men, there should be one for women too. I'm not saying there should be a draft. I'm not saying I want one. And I'm not saying that I would personally abide by the draft. I'd go to fucking prison. But, like, if there's going to be a draft, yeah. Draft both genders. All genders, whatever.
Interesting.
Hell no. This is not my fight. No. I object. I rebuke. I'm not going.
No.
This is so fucking annoying, man. Listen, it's so irritating because, like, I hate this guy, but, like, these TikTokers are so goddamn annoying. There's a reason I don't ever get on TikTok. The culture there is just so grating.
You gonna send me and my sister to go fight a war that I never even signed up for? Hell no. No.
No. Pack your bag, kid. You're getting drafted for World War III. You must have the wrong house, pal. Nope. You gotta fight in the war. And if I don't, jail. Fine. What? I choose jail. Go to jail, then fight for your country? Yeah.
Yes.
Why? What has my country ever done for me besides make it impossible to buy a house and refuse to give me any sort of student loan relief or affordable health care? This country's like a deadbeat dad that swears he'll pick me up on the weekends, but then ends up spending all of his money on
no, you're
scratch
calling
tickets
him
and
out!
booze, and at the same time refuse.
Uh-oh. This is the most emotion he's shown the entire time because he knows he is directly being called out in this video.
To pay child.
I got a real question for you. What other country's better? I'm not even.
Which one's not capitalist? Oh yeah, none of them. But also I can answer that. How about Denmark? I have a friend literally who decided he's going to pick up and move to Denmark because they have walkable fucking cities, free fucking healthcare, and reasonable fucking work conditions with reasonable fucking pay. All right? It's not perfect. It's still capitalism. All right? But at the very least, they take care of their own there. Yeah, Denmark. There's one example.
Taking aside here, no politics involved. We got people who flood the border, who come here from all over the world. I wonder what country, if you ask this lady, like, hey, what country would you prefer us be
Denmark.
like? Like, what's the gold standard? I don't know that you ever get an answer just beyond we should do a lot of free stuff, and this country sucks. I'm like, well, where would you go?
You call it free stuff, man. What free stuff are we talking about? Like healthcare? Yeah, healthcare should be free. Most Americans, by the way, agree that healthcare should be free. I've talked to fucking conservatives. Like regular ass fucking Trump voting, red-blooded American conservatives who also think that healthcare should be free. Yeah. Same with rent.
Who be in on the utopia so I can go there?
Give me a country worth fighting for and then maybe.
Wait. You just called that kind of society a utopia. What? Okay. So let's say that there's no other country that is better than this one. What, we just don't improve this one then? There's this weird idea that conservatives have that if you critique or want to improve the United States in any way, shape, or form, that you fucking hate it and you should move. What are you talking about? That is not how anything has ever worked, ever. If you love something, like your kid, for instance, do you even have kids? Like, you're old enough, you should. You know, you should have kids in, like, their 30s or some shit, right? I'm sure he does. But you didn't sit by and, like, watch your kids, You know, when you weren't like abusing them, I'm sure. You didn't sit by and watch your kids like just do whatever the fuck they wanted and fail all the time. You critiqued them. You encouraged them to be better. Okay? Because you love them. And that's the way that I treat my nation. You know, like I used to fucking hate this place. And I still kind of do. You know? The people here suck. The leaders suck. The policies suck. Healthcare sucks. I can't afford to, you know, fix my fucking teeth. So that's just one out of a million things I could list. But I say that I love this place because I love the people here and I want the things to improve. I just want the place to be better. Do you? Like, do you?
Maybe I'll fight in your stupid war, Dad. It's your duty as an American
Indeed, Guitar
citizen. It's
Rocker.
also the government's responsibility to protect and represent its citizens, but I don't see much of that happening.
True.
Right now, the government looks like hospice care. The Senate chamber reeks of death and mothballs. Grim Reaper's probably forced to sit in at every meeting. I don't care about your views, okay?
I agree with that. You need term limits, age limits. We got people represented as the
Agreed.
government broke. They come out worth 50, 100.
Wait, if he's agreeing with her, then you understand her point. Like, fuck the country that fucked us over. Yeah, that's the whole point,
$100
man.
million. They're the best stock pickers in the world. Somehow it's not public service anymore.
Yeah,
is it?
capitalism allowed
Just
that.
like we serve them somehow or the other. I can't disagree.
I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. And I'm telling you, you're not getting a win with me. You want me to fight in a war? I can't even win the war with my own brain.
Oh, yeah, that's a problem, huh? Wait till you get to this next one. The guy's like, if the enemy comes, I'll join them just to spite you.
I'm giving up my booty on a silver
Based.
platter to my bunkmate before I go to war. Being a draft dodger is not a life sentence. You know what is a life sentence? Getting your shit blown smooth.
Honestly, yeah, like if the United States tries to draft me, like it wouldn't be an unreasonable move if I could feasibly get out of this country, go to the one that they're trying to fucking bomb and fight for them. You know, like I don't think that would be an unreasonable, and nobody, like in no other, if it weren't like a geopolitical circumstance between the United States and like, let's say Iran, you know, I don't like, let's say that it were like Star Wars, you know, and it were the Empire versus the rebels. And you're part of, like, you live in an imperial city under the iron fist of the Empire, and you live a pretty standard life, but then they're like, oh, by the way, you're drafted now. You need to be a space Nazi for us. Nobody would say that, this is like main character shit. Like, no, I'm not doing that. Actually, I'm going to, like, jump ship and go join the other side. Because you clearly don't give a shit enough about me to not send me to war. Like, yeah, desertion and defection. Sometimes that is a very noble and good thing to do. You know? I don't care. What about Nazis who defected? You know, I'm sure there were plenty of those. And God love them, you know, they probably got in big fucking trouble if they got caught. But nobody's going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, no, he was so bad for like being a traitor against the Nazis, you know? Like, no, fucking, they're Nazis! You know? Like, if we're killing innocent civilians in Iran, then yeah, I'm not fighting your war. And I will literally desert and go fight for the other side.
Move off by an intervention.
I don't think that's controversial.
You think I'm gonna go overseas, give the government access to my black body, step on an IED just to have my kneecaps blown to smithereens, all in the name of oil and overlords? Are you nuts? This generation is not getting propagandized to.
I agree. They are not getting propagandized. They've kind of gone full circle here, but at some point, what do you do with this information? So I don't know there's any war because, well, let me back up. They are propagandized to a degree, maybe not about the war machine.
Yeah, they hate the villains in fiction, but love them in real life. Good point.
But about everything else, like face diapers, 25 pokes.
They're called masks, man.
You know, this machine,
He's a
TikTok,
plague
and
rat.
the media could really convince them. They're like, I need.
If another plague breaks out, man, you know what? Fine, don't wear the face diaper. Don't wear it. Don't get the jab. That's fine. Just don't.
To do this. St. Floyd is a hero. I mean, they do
See
get
what happens.
propagandized to a degree. It just depends on what it's about, right?
The same extent, I will forgive.
St. Floyd. They love fucking talking about George Floyd, man. They have a fucking George Floyd fetish. I have never heard a leftist bring up George Floyd since he fucking died. And every other fucking video, these people, these freaks, bring up George Floyd. Oh, my precious George Floyd. Oh, I kiss the boots of George Floyd every morning. I worship the flag of George Floyd. That doesn't happen. This is a fantasy in your fucked up brain, man. God damn. What is your problem? Shut the fuck up about George fucking Floyd. I don't give a shit about him. Yeah, he was probably a shitty person, okay? I don't care. That's not the point. The point is that the cop didn't know that when he was kneeling on his goddamn neck. Christ almighty. I don't care about fucking George Floyd. It's the principle.
Those that came before us, my African American forefathers,
he was
were
killed because he was
bamboozled,
black,
if you will. They believed that they were doing their due diligence, their duty as an American, and they came back and still were not afforded the same rights as their white counterparts. But now I'll be damned if I'm forced to fight some bullshit cause only to come back to this country without free healthcare and hear some white man talking to me about black fatigue.
This healthcare is a big thing for this generation, isn't it? They demand
yeah, it's expensive as
healthcare.
shit.
I recall they said Obamacare was going to solve the problem. I remember hearing that from Bernie Sanders.
I'm gonna fucking... Dude. Stop me before I violate TOS, man. Like, none of the leftists were saying that Obamacare solved it. Okay? And the only bits that Donald Trump actually wants to remove are the good ones. Like coverage for people with pre-existing conditions being mandatory. How about that one? Is that a good thing from Obamacare, Mr. Jameson? Huh? Do you like that one? Or do you not give a shit about your relatives with diabetes? Do you want them to fucking die? That's what you want, right? Because you don't like Obamacare, and Obamacare is what gave us mandatory health coverage for pre-existing conditions. So if you don't like that, that's fine, I guess. But, you know, fuck your relatives with diabetes because they're going to have to pay out the ass for it because they're not going to be covered. Why do you lick the boots of corporations, man? And then act like we're the weird ones?
Obviously, that didn't work. So I want free healthcare.
What's your solution? Oh, I forgot. No, Donald Trump has, concepts of a plan, right? Yeah, he's going to start listing off all the free stuff we want. You know, all the free stuff that actually would be good to be free.
Obviously, that didn't work. So I want free healthcare, free college,
yes,
free house.
Yes.
A lot of free stuff.
Yes.
I mean, if we figure that out, how that free ferry works, let me know. I'm all about it.
You know how it works? We take money from your ass. Yeah. I know you own at least 5 fucking companies, man. I know. Here, let's look them up. What's this man made of? Jameson's Travels, Amazon.com. Got a nice merch store here. Very good. What's this man worth? I want to know. Does he really not have a wiki? What's his name? What's his full name? He just goes by Jameson's Travels. Jameson.locals.com. Become a member of the community. I could have been wrong. But if that's the case, then he's just advocating against his own self-interest. It doesn't really help his case. Wait, he's a White Forest member? No. I'm a White Forest member. Sorry, I was on his Patreon. I'm surprised I can't find more on him. Read my Discord DM. I think I just saw it. Okay. I appreciate it, Guitar Rocker. We'll take care of it. All right, let's just go back. Either he's rich and he knows he's advocating for his own self-interest, or he's directly advocating against it. Either way, it's not a very good case for him.
Doesn't seem like it ever works in any lifetime I've ever witnessed or any history.
Well, hello, everyone. Okay, I know we're all
Because every time people have tried, they've been bowled over by either imperialists or capitalists or whatever.
spiraling right now because, yes, there's a very good chance that we are going to war with Iran.
Also, like, what's the problem with free college? Like, spell out what's wrong with it. Why don't you want an educated population, man? Can you explain that? Like, why don't you want people fed? Ridiculous.
You got the gamble, putting a wager down. What is the chance we go to war with Iran? What do you think? I don't have a hard opinion I'm comfortable with. It seems like that's the track record, right? That we end up in these things, sucked in. I hope not. But tell me in the comments.
This just popped into my head.
Call to action.
People are going to get drafted, right?
Are they? Are they?
And there's going to be a lot of...
The argument from this guy is like, people are definitely not going to get drafted, but even if they do, that's good and you should go. Okay, man.
MAGA people who are going to be drafted.
I think there are plenty of people that are quote-unquote MAGA that are not going to go. Shin splints. I mean, do you ever see the wealthy kids during
Then they're not going to get drafted.
Go? I mean, some, right? JFK. I think JFK's brother died flying a plane.
They're not talking about those people.
So we did have, I mean, back up, historically, we did have some people that were wealthy that went off to war, but I think you had to have that pedigree to move up, right, in politics. That used to be a thing. You don't have to have that anymore. I don't even think it matters.
And didn't want this, that we'll have to go over and fight. And you know who can't serve in the military now? Due to ridiculous anti-trans laws? Trans people.
Shockingly enough, during a war, I think we had, what is it, the 100,000, what was it? McNamara's, where you got people with these low IQs in to Vietnam to fill bodies.
What?
But they do that. It was Vietnam again. There's bodies. We don't care if you got asthma, if you're of this persuasion, whatever. We just need the bodies, right? I wouldn't use that as the out if you really think this is happening.
So if you're trans...
Wait, that's not a good thing, man. Like, that's not, like, do you hear yourself? Like, you are the bad guy. You're the villain. How do these people not understand that they're the villain? And yeah, asthma isn't the same as being trans either.
And you are within that.
But also, I would not avoid the draft by saying that you're trans, because you may have dodged the draft, but you did not dodge the death camp.
Age and bracket to be drafted, congratulations.
Out of the draft and into the death camp, as they say.
You don't have to fight this stupid war. I don't want to go to war. This is not what I want at all. But all I can think right now is I bet there's a bunch of people.
Dog, if you... Okay, wait. I'm sorry. If you dodged the draft by saying that you're fucking trans, you just placed yourself firmly on a fucking government list. Hell no. Health issues, period. Like, that's how you dodge. Health issues. Or lie about your age, I guess. Or something. Whatever you can get away with, just don't tell them that you're a fucking sexual or gender minority. Don't do that.
With MAGA who are going to get drafted that wish they were trans. Because they also didn't...
Or even mentally disabled. Don't say that either.
On this.
Can you see any people that are quote-unquote MAGA that come out as trans? Not go to war? I can see that. I don't see a draft, but it's funny to watch Gen Z just lose their minds over a draft that doesn't exist.
I don't see a draft, but wouldn't it be funny?
They've seen it. They saw the GWOW. They grew up with it.
Wouldn't it be funny, though?
What they were told.
I'm not saying I want
it. The
it.
results were... And
I'm also not saying I don't
want to do it. It's going to be a hard thing to overcome in the future wars for profiteering. That'll be really hard.
But you know what? You get what you voted for.
This message is to the United States government and the United States government only. I hope you, the FBI, CIA, Air Force, Army, Space Force, Navy, all are watching this. You don't want me in that war. You don't want to draft me. You don't. I'm telling you, you don't want to draft me. Because when I get in that field, I might be petty just enough to where I might shake hands with them and turn back on you for putting me in that position. I had nothing to do with that.
Wow, that's an interesting take, right?
Based.
They may join the enemy and turn on you.
Dog, your own fucking government's the enemy. What are you talking about?
I did a poll here. I said if we were invaded by a foreign adversary, how many Americans would join the foreign adversary? Check the poll out. It was a big...
You did a poll. You did a poll. Ah, yes. I'm sure that there was no bias in your audience. I don't even run polls. I've thought about it. Like, I've seen that one talk show, the call-in, the leftist call-in show, The Line. I've seen them run polls, and I'm like, why are you running these fucking polls? Like, you know that everybody's going to agree with your position because it's your fucking audience that you're putting the polls out to. I love The Line, okay, for the most part, but, like, also, like, the polls don't say anything, man. Stupid.
Big number. People thought, like, 40%. I don't doubt it. I see a lot of this. Like, CCP comes in. People be like, I stand with the CCP.
Was that a fly?
It's like Gavin Newsom did when they came to San Francisco, right? Flags up. That could be a thing.
It was you. Your decision.
Hold on, what did he say?
Like 40% invaded by a foreign adversary. How many Americans would join the foreign adversary? Check the poll out. It was a big number. People thought like 40%.
Oh, I see. Okay, wait. He's okay. So I misunderstood. The poll he ran was such that he wasn't asking the person if they would turn. He was asking how many Americans would. 40%'s a lot. I don't know. Like, if they, let's say they drafted literally everybody, just hypothetically. Man, would it be 40? I don't know. I have no earthly idea. Leave a reply in the comments. What number you think it would be? What percent?
I see a lot of this. Like, CCP comes in. People be
The
like,
more the
I
better.
stand with the CCP. It's like Gavin Newsom did when they came to San Francisco, right? Flags up.
I would unironically stand with the CCP in some circumstances over America.
That could be a thing.
It was you. Your decision. Your decision to go make these affairs, these incorrect affairs with these international countries. I had nothing to do with that. Matter of fact, I had nothing to do with being here in the first place. I was born in the United States of America against my own will. Oh, my heritage. I was brought over here against my own will. So why do you think that I'm going to be loyal to you?
This crowd's tough, right? What do you want from me here? Not loyal to the country. Not happy with anything. You didn't make any effort to go back to wherever you're from. You didn't say, this place sucks. I'm going back to wherever my heritage.
Yeah, let me just, pull thousands of dollars out of my ass so that I can, like, move my entire life and livelihood over to another country, right? That will definitely, like, we can do that overnight, too. That's not a process that takes copious amounts of time and effort, There's no, like, shut the fuck up, man. I hate this argument. If you don't like it, just get out. Oh, if you don't like it, get out. You don't like it here, man. Because, like, most of the people who live here have critiques and problems with this country, which you apparently don't. Okay? So, like, we were built on free speech. This man's exercising his free speech. If you don't like that, why don't you get the fuck out?
Just complain a lot, is what I've noticed. I'm not disagreeing that...
You are literally sitting here complaining and bitching and moaning about people's free speech, and you made an entire video about it.
Maybe his ancestors did come here without their consent. But what do you do with this information in 2025? Like,
if you need some help.
We recognize, okay, that his ancestors were fucked. All right? They were fucked. They were like, if I had to guess, they were probably brought over here on ships against their will and turned into slaves, lost their ancestry, lost their heritage, whatever, were raped and brutalized, and eventually, quote unquote, freed, even though what that really meant was, oh, well, you can come back and work for us still at the farm for, like, wage slaves, or wage, like a little bit more than what we gave you before, right? In most circumstances, that's what happened, because there was nowhere else they could go, because there were no fucking reparations, right? And then there was Jim Crow, and then we had to fight for, black people had to fight for fucking civil rights until the 1970s, when they finally got it, after their guy was killed, likely by our government, mind you, And now we're here. And then even after the civil rights were secured, there was redlining practices. There were laws all over the place where they didn't technically include people's skin color, but would still nonetheless bar people largely of that skin color, aka black. Okay? And that's why black people are not nearly as prosperous as white people in the United States. That's why black people usually live in worse circumstances and have worse health outcomes, etc., etc. They weren't given the opportunity that the rest of us were. Okay? It's shitty. And refusing to recognize that doesn't help any of it. I hate his fucking face. I fucking hate his face.
I would say you should recruit those people that are diehard
I hate
Americans.
it so much.
I think you should recruit those people that were at a
Why does
certain
it look
place
like
on a
that?
certain day, climbing certain things. So, let me help you. Help me. Help you. Help me. You're gonna have a better day. Because I might just be that little tipping point for you in winning the war.
This is Dr. Seuss over here. What the hell are you saying? Do you want to have somebody who just does not want to be there? I'm sure a lot of people don't, but they ended up being Medal of Honor recipients, right? They're draftees. They're outstanding in every way. This crowd does not seem like they have any interest. Again, hundreds of thousands on TikTok. TikTok's losing its mind right now over a draft. It doesn't exist yet.
I tell you what, y'all can pass as many.
It's so funny, man. Like, I know I've said it already, but it's literally like the argument is there's no draft, but if there were one, like, it's cringe to not go. Like, come on. You're not saying anything. What's your like, should there be a draft? What do you think? Ought there be one? I don't think so. I have the balls to say it. Have yours shriveled? Huh? Come on. What's your stance? What do you actually think about the shit going on right now? Was it good that we bombed Iran? Was it bad? Do these people have any point whatsoever about anything? Okay, let's talk about healthcare for a second. Oh, it shouldn't be free, right? Oh, I didn't say that. I think that people bitch and moan about it too much. No! Do you think that healthcare should be free? Do you think that people should be forced to pay hundreds of dollars for insulin when they have diabetes? What do you think, man? Fuck. Say something.
Y'all want. I bet you when it's time to go up over there, though, can't nobody find
Or at least
me.
crack
I'm
a
willing to
smile.
bet that on everything I love. Listen up. I'm from the hood of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, okay?
Okay.
I don't give a damn who we got beef with. I'm innocent. Better yet, all them damn prehistoric people in the White House and Congress, send them over there. Y'all suit up and go. Y'all the ones they don't like. I can't name the leader of one country we got beef with.
I can't even laugh properly. It's so unnerving.
Y'all suit up and go. Y'all the ones they don't like. I can't name the leader of
God.
one country we got beef with.
It's a good
What is
point.
this
You don't have a
creature?
beef. Most of us don't have a beef. Neither does the other country. Who would you send as a politician who's really always angry? Like Lindsey Graham, loved every war he's ever seen. Who else would you say this
agree on
politician
that.
should go because he always or she always wants war? I think it was Nikki.
Well, Donald Trump was the one who bombed Iran, right? Send him. Send Elon Musk. That'd be really funny, actually. Send Elon Musk. You know what? Send Elon Musk and I will go. That's my terms. If we send Elon Musk to the front lines, I will go just so I can watch him flounder. That's my terms for the draft.
Haley. It's a pile of Democrats. I mean, CNN.
Yeah, send the Dems. Why do they always think that we are like sucking the toes of the Democrats? No, send them too. Yeah. Send Nancy Pelosi. That'll be funny. Right? Who else? Who would be really funny? That's mainly what I'm concerned with, is who would be funny to send to the drafts. Then I support a draft. I only support it if it's funny. Chuck Schumer, there you go. Perfect. Oh my God, imagine Chuck Schumer putting on the fucking boots. Strapping on the boots and getting the guns. We're going to war, baby. He'd last like 5 seconds. Now that would be funny. I'd support the draft for that.
He's now like talking, we should do something in Iran. Like, we should do it. Like, what is going on here? Whole thing's flipped on its head, but who would you send?
Messed up again and said y'all. I can't name one country.
Who would you send, man? Like, you're talking like you're still of drafting age. The fuck you aren't. Like, no. I don't think so. Like, you have nothing to lose, brother. You're talking to like all the people that you're looking at are of drafting age. So of course you're going to be like, yeah, who cares if there's a draft? You're not the one affected by it.
Country y'all got beef with. We don't be talking to them. Y'all do. I don't know Russian number. I can't just pick up the phone and ask them what the hell they beef is. So don't.
Still, that's the most he smiled.
Y'all do. I don't know Russian number. I can't just pick up the phone and ask them what the hell.
Look at that. Look at that. Still not. But wait. Wait. Hold. Computer enhance. We might have something here. I think we got it. Look at that. I think we did it, boys. The happiest this man's ever looked in a video. Right there. It took a lot. But I'm proud of him.
They beef is. So don't just get the pads and bills saying if they want to fight, I gotta go. Like honestly, truthfully, I don't know why no
he
countries
proved me
is
wrong.
mad at each
You
other.
know what?
I have
I'll take the
zero
L on
knowledge
that.
Well, money, we know that. It's pretty entertaining. What do you think? Is there going to be a draft? Question. Put it in the chat. I think no. I don't even know why you think that, but TikTok is spun up because...
Okay, we know that you don't think there will be a draft. You've only said it like 5 fucking times. Should there be one? And if there is one, would I be justified in dodging it? Talk about the actual substance here. Okay? You can argue till the sun goes down that there won't be a draft. Whatever. You might even be right. Okay? We could be overblowing the shit out of it. But like at the same time, there have been drafts before. And it's not like it's completely out there. So what do you think? You know? Like, just answer the damn question.
Because they get propagandized, clearly. Are we going to war? Are we going to war with ground troops? Maybe more clear. I don't think we are. I hope we're not. I'm smoking the hopium here. God, I hope not. Is this generation... How long is it going to take for this generation forgets the GWAT? And then get sucked into another GWAT 2.0? I don't know it's going to happen.
What's GWA? What is he talking about? The GWA?
And then get sucked into another GWAT 2.0.
GWA 2... What's GWA? Does anybody know what that means? I don't know. Tell me in the comments if you know what GWA means.
I don't know what's going to happen with the social media now. These young folks see the ramifications, like 20 years, what happened? What did we get? Did we get any benefit? Was it about big money being made? I mean, it's hard for them to look away from that. I don't know, you can never, once you've shown what's behind the curtain, you can't ever escape it, right?
The war in Afghanistan? Oh, okay. Always great takes from Jameson's travels. I'm glad we finally got to see him smile. That made me happy inside. Good for him. Okay. I'm going to check in one more time on what's going on with the election. We're going to stream snipe Vosh. Wait, where'd it go? What? Okay. How are we looking?
Cuomo to supporting him and looked like she was a hostage at his fucking rally. Ramos? Yeah. People like that. You know the fucking Cersei Lannister walk of shame? Listen. I'm just saying, okay? There have to be consequences to being this wrong.
Beloved city, and that is what
Austin,
we're doing tonight.
Down on Ramos from the
pulled me into
87th
public service,
floor.
the values that pulled you into this campaign, they will guide us.
So I know there's a schism in my audience for Vosh, and that's fine. If you don't like Vosh, if he's not your thing, that's whatever. I love the guy, okay? I can't help it. He says the R slur. It's kind of cringe. But otherwise, I think he's a good bean.
Can do it with compassion, with integrity, and with honesty.
Where are we sitting?
When we started this race about a year ago, I told many of you the story of Yaris Lopez, a young woman who was born in Honduras. She's Garifuna. That's Afro.
So are you calling it already for Mamdani? Yes, Mamdani has won.
Yo!
He's not going to win in the first round, but with the enormous majority he has, or the enormous share he has over Cuomo, his victory is essentially guaranteed. The Decision Desk HQ has already called it. Everyone's
That's
already called it.
crazy.
He has won. It might take a few days to sort out the paperwork and see by how much he won, but he's won.
Group that lives in
That's
Honduras.
amazing.
And they face a lot of hatred and discrimination. So
All right. That's all I need to hear. It's a great note to end the night on, folks. I know I didn't talk about the mayoral race a lot, but if you've been following it, that is a very good sign. That combined with like Elon Musk not being able to pay off the election in Wisconsin, you know, like it just looks good. It looks like things are looking up in terms of like local elections, at least, and perhaps even state elections. You know, people are starting to realize that like grassroots have a lot of power. It's good stuff. So feel good about that tonight. We got a lot to feel good about tonight. But with that being said, I am going to send you over to Voosh. I am going to probably be watching him for a little bit just to see what's going on. I cannot raid on Twitch or YouTube, so I will be doing it exclusively on my site. If you're on my site, you will see Voosh. You can remain in the chat, or you can go join his, whatever. But anyway, thank you all very much for joining. I love you all. I will not be here on Friday or this weekend because I will be in Indianapolis. If you are in or near Indianapolis or have the time to travel, I will be at Indie PopCon, where I will meet Queen Laura and give one this lovely Gengar that I crafted for one. So you can come meet us there if you have time and are near Indianapolis. I will be back next Tuesday. Until then, everybody take care. Have a great night. Celebrate. We've earned it. Especially if you phone banked, which I did not because I'm a lazy piece of shit. But if you did phone bank, good job. You should pat yourself on the back. And have a very wonderful night. Take care, everybody.